World-Defying Dan God Chapter 5361, Zongong Yaohua. As soon as the man in black robe finished speaking, the dark aura on his body surged and turned into a black shadow, rushing towards Chen Shang and Lan Shi like lightning. The speed of the man in black robe was so fast that he was almost invisible, making it difficult for people to react. Chen Shang and Lan Shi met the attack of the men in black robes, and their cooperation had reached the level of perfection. Lan Zi's primordial divine power was released instantly, condensing into a blue light curtain to protect her and Chen Shang. Chen Shang, on the other hand, wielded the azure dragon demon-slaying knife, transforming into a huge azure dragon that collided with the dark power of the man in black robes. The battle was extremely fierce, and the man in black robe showed amazing strength, and his dark power vaguely exuded a heart-stopping feeling. Chen Shang and Lan Shi also showed no signs of weakness. They had a clear understanding of each other and cooperated with each other to display their ultimate fighting power. "You are just trash, why should you fight against the ancient Sacred Tree clan?" the man in black robe mocked. However, he underestimated the strength and determination of Chen Shang and Lan Shi. Lan Zi's eyes flashed with determination, and she said solemnly, "We must protect the ancient Xingwei tree and will not let any force invade it." Chen Shang also stared at the man in black robes, with determination in his eyes. "No matter what force you are, I will not back down. The ancient Xingwei tree belongs to us." As the words fell, the powers of Lan Shi and Chen Shang gathered again, and the divine power of Taichu intertwined with the light of the azure dragon demon-slaying sword to form a more powerful blue dragon. The man in black robe felt the pressure increase. He gritted his teeth and tried his best to deal with the two attacks. The menacing blue dragon collided with the dark power of the black-robed man, and the surrounding space was shaking violently. However, no matter how hard the man in black robe tried, he could not withstand the combined attack of the two men. Finally, after a violent collision, the man in black robe was finally defeated. He felt the consumption of his own strength, and also felt the terrifying determination of Lan Shi and Chen Shang. He knew that he could no longer compete with them and could only choose to retreat. "You have only defeated me temporarily, and I am just a member of the Divine Tree Ancient Clan. You are just ants in front of the entire Divine Tree Ancient Clan. Wait for me," the man in black robe said through gritted teeth, and then transformed a dark air shadow quickly disappeared into the distance. Lan Shi and Chen Shang did not pursue him because it was difficult to catch the black-robed man in his current form. The most important task now is to save Lanchen, Yuan and Yaohua, and protect the ancient Xingwei tree. "Let's go find them quickly," Lan Shi said anxiously. During the battle just now, Lanchen and the other three girls had already retreated to a distance to heal their injuries. Although they still have the strength to fight again, they are too seriously injured, and both Chen Shang and Lan Shi are very worried. Chen Shang and Lan Shi immediately ran towards the direction of the three women. There are palace ruins everywhere here, and they are in the middle of the ruins. Yuan opens the Xingwei Luotian umbrella and places it in the middle to form a barrier to protect the three of them inside. When Chen Shang and Lan Shi approached the place, they saw them sitting cross-legged on the ground inside the Xingwei Luotian umbrella. They were all exuding evil energy. It was obvious that the strange evil energy was injected into their bodies when they fought with the mysterious black-robed man just now. Suddenly, dozens of burly inner demons roared like ferocious beasts, with ferocious veins standing on their bodies, approaching Xingwei Luotian umbrella. "Let's go there quickly." Chen Shang suddenly became anxious and quickened his pace. Lanchen and Yuan were seriously injured and their auras were very weak. The Taichu divine power in their bodies was working to force the evil energy out of their bodies. Although Yaohua also exuded an evil aura, her aura was extremely strong, and after feeling a powerful inner demon approaching, she rushed out with a big sword. Chen Shang had met Yaohua before, but because he had to fight the black-robed man, he didn't know him well. Now that he got closer, he truly recognized the Lord of the North Palace, one of the four palaces. She is tall, has strong muscles, and has dark skin, showing traces of sun exposure. His eyes were bright and clear, like a wise man who was well versed in the vicissitudes of the world and had seen countless storms. There was a bit of perseverance and determination between her brows, making her look even more heroic. She was wearing a pale golden battle suit, her steps were firm, like moving clouds and flowing water, her speed was as fast as lightning, and she carried a resolute aura. She is merciless to the enemy, decisive in killing, never sloppy, and is a true iron-blooded warrior. Chen Shang had heard from Lan Shi before that although Yaohua looked tough on the outside, he still had a soft heart deep down, and he was also the most powerful among the 4 palace masters. She is very strong. After Chen Shang passed by, Yao Hua had quickly ended the battle. Chen Shang had already arrived in front of Yao Hua, admiring the mighty lord of Baigong up close. Although Yao Hua has dark skin, her unique graceful temperament makes her even more charming. Her posture is tall and straight, and her straight spine exudes confidence and strength. The slender leg lines are looming, revealing toughness and flexibility. She is like an unyielding iron tree growing in the wilderness. After being baptized by wind and frost, she becomes even more strong and resolute. Although her appearance was not delicate, her eyes shone with intelligence and could see through the prosperity and disputes in the world. Her eyebrows were slightly raised, and her slender eyebrows were as sharp as sword eyebrows, outlining her determination. The corners of her mouth were slightly raised, revealing a sense of calmness and open-mindedness that made people involuntarily moved. Yao Hua's long hair is shawl black as a waterfall, and slightly scattered on her broad shoulders. Together with her resolute face, it forms a unique beauty. During the battle, Yao Hua's beauty was not obscured by her ferocious aura, but instead appeared more determined and courageous. Those bright eyes always shone with determination and perseverance. Her beauty is not the kind of delicate and charming, but a kind of restrained and confident beauty, exuding charming charm. Greetings to the main hall master. Yao Hua knelt down on one knee after seeing Chen Shang. Thank you to the main hall master for coming to the rescue. If it weren't for the main hall master, we might have died. Yao Hua is also very straightforward and has a bold voice. Palace Master Yao Hua, please get up. You are still injured, go and heal first. Chen Shang quickly helped Yao Hua up and said with a smile, Palace Master Lanshi also put in a lot of effort just now. Lanshi smiled softly and said softly, Yao Hua, the main hall master was very worried about you all the way. Moreover, the main hall master insisted on coming to you before, but I didn't put any effort at all. Yao Hualang laughed a few times and said, the master of the main hall is really our savior. Shouldn't we pledge ourselves to him for such a great favor? Chen Shang was startled, then laughed a few times, and urged, Palace Master Yao Hua, stop making trouble and go heal your injuries quickly. The guy who injured you is still here. When your injuries are healed, let's go find him together. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5362, Fight Against the Evil Enemy. Yao Hua laughed loudly, shook her head and said, Master of the Hall, I'm teasing you. Her eyes were full of gratitude and admiration, and her admiration for Chen Shang was beyond words. Chen Shang looked at Yao Hua with a smile, secretly praising her frankness and open-mindedness. Although Yao Hua usually looks tough and decisive, the humor and straightforwardness she displayed at this moment made people look at her with admiration. Yao Hua also knew that now was not the time to joke, so he nodded quickly and agreed, the master of the hall is right, let's heal the wounds first. Although she said, I pledge myself to you, in fact she has always been a woman with a bold personality, and her words always contained a bit of joking. Yao Hua stood up. Although her injuries were not serious, her spirit was extremely high. Because with Chen Shang and Lan Shi by her side, she was full of confidence in the next battle. Lan Shi also smiled, having long been accustomed to Yao Hua's generosity. Then let's go back to heal first, and then gather our strength to deal with that guy from the ancient sacred tree tribe. Lanchen and Yuan were the most seriously injured. They were still meditating and sleeping. Lanshi and Yao Hua went over and released their Taichu divine power to help heal their injuries. Chen Shang took out the Star Soul Stone and used the Star Soul Stone to mobilize the power of the ancient star tree. He saw green stars full of vitality coming from all directions and falling on Lanchen, Yuan and Yao Hua. Palace Master Yao Hua, you are also seriously injured, you should sit down and heal. Chen Shang smiled and said, I can borrow the power of the Xingwei ancient tree and help you recover soon. Yao Hua nodded, sat down and began to meditate to heal his injuries. She closed her eyes, her whole body was enveloped in the bright starlight, and she felt the restorative power of the ancient starlight would penetrate into her body. Chen Shang quietly guarded her side, mobilizing the Star Soul Stone to gather the power of Xingwei and accelerate Yao Hua's recovery speed. Lan Shi looked at Lanchen and Yuan. Their injuries were more serious and would take longer to recover. Lan Shi gently touched their foreheads, his eyes full of concern and worry. She knew that they could only continue fighting if their injuries were completely healed. In a peaceful atmosphere, time passes slowly. Chen Shang and Lan Shi cooperated fully to pour the healing power of Xingwei ancient wood into the three palace masters. After an unknown amount of time, Yaohua finally opened her eyes. She felt that most of the injuries in her body had recovered and she felt refreshed. She stood up, looked at Chen Shang and Lan Shi gratefully, and said, "Thank you, Palace Master, Lan Shi Palace Master, I have no problem." Lan Shi smiled and nodded, then she turned to Lanchan and Yuan, "You two still need time to recover, don't worry, we will wait for you." Lan Shi stood aside to guard Lanchan and Yuan, injecting his Taichu divine power from time to assist them in healing. She was very anxious, but in order for Lanchan and Yuan to recover as soon as possible, she had to maintain a stable state. Lanchan and Yuan's whole bodies exuded a faint golden light, which complemented the surrounding green stars, making them appear solemn and mysterious. Time passed quietly, and one day passed. Lanchan and Yuan's injuries had improved, and some color gradually returned to their faces. "Thank you, Master of the Palace and Master of Lanshi Palace." Lanchan and Yuan said their thanks together. "It's true of you that you didn't call me into a fight. Do you think my cultivation level is too low to drag you down?" Chen Shang laughed, livening up the atmosphere here. Lanchan and Yuan felt very guilty at this time, because they almost made a big mistake. If Chen Shang and Lan Shi hadn't suddenly arrived, they would have definitely died here, and died miserably. "Master of the Palace, Master of Lanshi Palace, we are really sorry for almost putting you in danger." Lanchan whispered, her eyes full of regret and apology, "If you hadn't come to rescue us, we would all have died tragically." "Thank you." Yuan also quickly said, "Yes, we were too impulsive. We did not expect to encounter such a powerful enemy, and we almost let them succeed. I am really grateful to the Master of the Palace." Lan Shi shook his head and comforted softly, "Don't blame yourself. It happened so suddenly that everyone would be caught off guard. Fortunately, the Master of the Hall arrived in time, otherwise we would have been unable to survive." Chen Shang smiled and waved his hands and said, "It doesn't matter, just be fine now. We face difficulties together and only by helping each other can we defeat powerful enemies." Yaohua laughed and interjected, "He is the master of the main hall. It is normal for him to save us. Besides, I don't say thank you for the great favor. I really want to thank the master of the main hall for his life-saving grace. So stop talking about it and just pledge yourself to him. The master of the main hall is so handsome, it's not a bad idea to sleep with him, but I'm afraid he won't be able to stand it, ha ha ha." Although Lanchan and Yuan's pretty faces turned red and they felt a little embarrassed, they also burst into laughter with Yaohua Lanshi. Yaohua's generosity and humor made the atmosphere relaxed and happy. Chen Shang was also amused and laughed, shook his head and said, "Palace Master Yaohua, please respect yourself. Let's solve the problem at hand first." Lan Shi also smiled and nodded to Yaohua in agreement. "Yes, we have to concentrate on dealing with the guys from the ancient Sacred Tree clan before we can move forward." After laughing, Lanchan and Yuan's eyes flashed with emotion. They realized how lucky they were to fight side by side with the Palace Master and the Blue River Palace Master. Chen Shang patted their shoulders and encouraged them. "Okay, the injuries are gradually recovering, let's go to the mysterious cyclone and completely eradicate the ancient Sacred Tree tribe." Everyone sat down again to regain their strength, and their breath became more and more stable. Firm determination surged in their hearts, and they would never let those ancient Sacred Tree tribes continue to be arrogant. As night falls, the starry sky shines brightly. The lords of the four palaces gathered together again, united as one, and headed towards the mysterious cyclone. Along the way, they encountered many men from the ancient Sacred Tree tribe, but they were all easily defeated by the lord of the fourth palace. With the sparks of the battle, they felt more and more the tacit understanding and trust between them. Finally, they came to the edge of the mysterious cyclone again. The cyclone exudes a strong dark atmosphere, which makes people feel inexplicably depressed. Moving on, the cyclone becomes darker and darker, filled with evil energy. Everyone walked steadily, vigilantly looking for enemies hidden in the darkness. Suddenly, a cold voice sounded in the darkness, "Ha ha ha, you are finally here. I have been waiting for you for a long time." Everyone's expressions changed and they stared closely at the direction from which the sound came. A tall man in black robes appeared in front of them, exuding a strong dark aura. He was the guy from the ancient Sacred Tree tribe they met before. "Are you quite happy? I came back this time just to catch you." Chen Shang raised his voice and responded with a sense of momentum. The man in black robes suddenly laughed wildly, and saw the cyclone burst out with purple-red thunder and lightning, turning into a huge tornado. The evil forces from all directions became more violent, and the terrifying pressure made Chen Shang and the others feel as if the sky was pressing down on them. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5363, Starlight Divine / Not long ago, this space was still dark, and the sky was full of stars. Now the sky turned gray-red, and the stars in the sky disappeared. The stars seen here are not real stars. They are the power released by the ancient star tree. However, at this moment, those powers are obscured by evil forces, resulting in Chen Shang and the others being unable to get help from the ancient star tree. The man in black robe kept laughing ferociously, and said with great ridicule, "You are finished. The power of the Xingwei ancient wood is blocked by me. Without the help of the Xingwei ancient wood, let's see what you can do to me." The star soul stone in Chen Zhang's hand is closely connected to the ancient star wood, but at this moment, the star sparkle is still shining in Chen Zhang's hand, which means that he has not lost contact with the ancient star tree, and he can still mobilize the ancient star wood through the star soul stone, the power of. However, the power of the Xingwei ancient wood will be released through the star soul stone, and cannot be released directly from the space of the North Palace. Facing the black-robed man's ridicule, Chen Shang did not flinch. He looked at the black-robed man coldly, with a confident smile on his face. "Do you think you can defeat us if you block the power of the ancient star tree?" Chen Shang said calmly. "The power of the ancient star tree is infinite. Even if it is blocked, we can still mobilize its power. You are not us at all, opponent." Lan Shi, Yao Hua, Lan Chan, and Yuan also stood beside Chen Shang, condensing their respective powers and preparing to face the challenge of the man in black robe. "Lord of the Fourth Palace, you have no idea how powerful our ancient sacred tree clan is." The man in black robe laughed mockingly, with a ferocious light flashing in his eyes, and laughed wildly. "Do you think you can be invincible with the help of the starry ancient tree? In this primordial world, there is an existence more powerful than the ancient tree of starlight." After saying that, the dark aura on the man in black became stronger and stronger, and his body swelled up and turned into a huge dark image, menacing. "Look at my dark shadow magical power." The man in black robe roared wildly, and the dark shadow rushed towards the Lord of the Fourth Palace. The lords of the four palaces took action together, and their divine powers merged to form a huge shield to resist the attack of the dark shadow. However, the power of the man in black robe became more and more powerful, the dark shadow was unstoppable, and the shield began to collapse. Not good. Lan Zai's expression changed. She was not afraid of the dark shadow, but she could not muster absolute power at the moment. "We have to join forces," Yao Hua shouted, golden flames burning as he swung his giant sword. Everyone works closely together and has an extraordinary tacit understanding with each other to jointly resist the invasion of the dark shadow. Although the dark demons were powerful, they were not defeated, but stabilized the situation. "It really disappoints me," the man in black robe sneered, and the dark shadow continued to spread. Chen Zhang's brows frowned slightly. He knew that the man in black robe in front of him was not simple, and he could never be dragged down by him again. He decided to take a chance. "Lan Shi, Yao Hua, you can resist him for now," Chen Shang said to Lan Shi and Yao Hua, and then he quickly mobilized the power of the Star Soul Stone. The power of the Xingwei ancient wood poured into his body, and the light was bright, intersecting with the dark demonic shadow. Chen Shang gathered all the power in his hands, and then slashed towards the dark shadow without hesitation. "Star Glow Divine Slash!" Chen Shang shouted lowly. Star Glow Divine Slash condensed endless power of light and instantly cut through the dark shadow. The man in black robe widened his eyes, looking at the scene in front of him in disbelief. He thought he was strong enough, but he didn't expect this young man to have such terrifying means. "Who are you?" the man in black robe asked tremblingly. Chen Shang looked at the man in black robe, with a trace of indifference flashing in his eyes. "Idiot, I am the main hall master of Xingwei Temple, and also the master of Xingwei Ancient Tree. Don't worry, I won't kill you, I will catch you, and will you are escorted to your ancient sacred tree clan and your clansmen can see what a loser you are." The man in black robe gritted his teeth angrily. He did not expect that the young man in front of him was actually the main hall master of Xingwei Temple, and he also controlled the power of Xingwei Ancient Wood. He felt small and helpless in front of this young man. "If you dare to catch me, the ancient sacred tree clan will never let you go." The man in black robe threatened through gritted teeth. "What qualifications do you, the ancient divine tree clan, have to threaten me?" Chen Shang snorted coldly, and the star-shining divine slash in his hand once again condensed the powerful power of light. The man in black robe knew that he could not fight against Chen Shang, so he decided to find an opportunity to escape. He used his swift movements to try to break through the siege of the Lord of the Four Palaces. However, the Lord of the Fourth Palace had already been prepared, and they cooperated tacitly to trap the man in black robes. Don't even think about escaping. Yao Hua waved the sword in his hand with fierce sword energy, blocking the black-robed man's retreat. You will regret it. The man in black robe roared desperately, but faced with the joint siege of the Lord of the Four Palaces, he could not escape at all. Chen Shang stepped forward with a cold look. You deserve it, don't blame us for being ruthless. Lan Shi, Lan Chen, and Yuan also gathered around and subdued the black-robed man together. The dark shadow was completely defeated, the huge cyclone disappeared, and the entire North Palace returned to its former tranquility. Ha ha ha, I'm not that easy to deal with. I want to see how you are going to lock me up. You are indeed very strong and can kill me, but it is not that easy to lock me up. The man in black robe laughed wildly. Chen Shang took out the world-proud divine furnace and directly put the black-robed man in it to seal it. He also set fire to roast him from time to time, causing the black-robed man to scream in pain. Chen Shang looked at the stars in the sky and murmured, "Qingxing, I didn't give up on them. I rescued them and restored Baigong. How are you now?" Qingxing didn't answer. Maybe she already knew that Chen Shang was successful, so she went to sleep and retreat peacefully. The next thing Chen Shang has to do is to torture the man in black robes so that he can learn more about the ancient sacred tree clan. His proud divine furnace was placed aside, and the four palace masters faced the sealed man in black robes, guarding him vigilantly to prevent him from making any counterattacks. Invaders from the ancient sacred tree clan, please answer our questions honestly. Lan Shi said calmly, we don't know much about the ancient sacred tree clan. I hope you can tell us some key information. The man in black robe sneered, do you think I will speak for you? The ancient sacred tree clan will never allow me to reveal any internal secrets. Lan Chan stepped forward, a cold light flashing in his eyes. Do you think we are afraid of you? Tell us everything, otherwise you will be sealed forever and suffer torture, life and death. Yuan also joined in the persuasion. Don't ruin your future because of foolish loyalty. If you take the initiative to explain, maybe we can intercede for you. The man in black robe was silent. He had been so harsh before, but now he seemed to be hesitating whether to speak or not. It was obvious that the flames released by Chen Shang caused him great pain. He also felt very frightened when he thought of having to suffer this kind of torture every day from now on. I said, don't burn me again. The man in black robe suddenly shouted, because he felt that Chen Shang was about to set a fire again, and the flames were stronger than before. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5364, Imbalance of the Five Elements. After a while, the man in black robe finally gritted his teeth and decided to tell part of the truth. The ancient sacred tree clan was first bred from the five elements sacred tree and was divided into 5 clans. Each clan represents an attribute: gold, wood. The 5 races represent different attributes. Chen Shang frowned, then why do you look so evil? The man in black robe sighed and said, because the 5 elements sacred tree later split, or was reborn after death, and turned into 3 sacred trees, namely the starry ancient tree, the dream flower sea, and the 9 heavens mysterious pine. The original sacred tree later, each of the 5 tribes also explored their own way of cultivation, and they all deviated from the original way of the 5 elements. You have gone too far, haven't you? You were originally made of metal, but now you have become so evil and crazy. Yao Hua just found it incredible, then what have you become now? Now we have turned into bright light, wind and thunder, earth and water, fire, and evil darkness. Our Jin clan is now evil and dark. Although our power is very evil, we are the strongest. Ha ha ha, the man in black robe started to laugh crazily again. It seems that this is something he is proud of. After listening to the words of the man in black robe, everyone couldn't help but feel surprised and regretful about the changes in the ancient sacred tree clan. The Jin clan, which once belonged to one of the 5 elements, has now become so evil and violent, losing its original purity and righteousness, which is lamentable. It turns out that although your power is strong, you have also lost the balance between the 5 elements and twisted it into your own extreme. Chen Shang sighed deeply. You should not follow evil, but should pursue balance and harmony. Who cares about your theory? We are the most powerful. The man in black robe laughed wildly. the other 4 tribes are all useless. They need to join forces to suppress our evil and dark ancient tribe. After so many years, not only have they failed, the law destroyed us, and we broke the seal. Although the man in black robe was imprisoned by Chen Shang, his aura at the moment was very domineering. When it overflowed from the proud world divine furnace, one could really feel the terrifying power of evil. The arrogance of the man in black robe made everyone more alert to him. Although they successfully sealed the man in black robes, the evil ancient tribe he represented was still a threat, and their power was still very powerful. Your evil and dark power is not really powerful, but a distorted and corrupted power. Lan Shi said calmly, true power comes from justice and perseverance. You should pursue the balance of the 5 elements in order to gain long-term strength and eternity. You are proud of evil, but such power is unstable after all and will lead to self-destruction. Lanchan also added, we, the lords of the 4th palace, have joined forces to maintain the balance of Taichu heaven and earth. Your actions, it just throws everything into chaos. Stop being so self-righteous. Yuan said calmly, you have violated the 5 elements and the original intention of the sacred tree. You are destined to be destroyed. The man in black robe still laughed wildly after hearing what everyone said. He didn't seem to care about their warning and sneered, you trash, don't think that I will listen to your nonsense. I am the real strong one. Only our Xie, an ancient clan, only worthy of ruling this world. Chen Shang looked at the proud divine furnace. There was no wavering on his face, only firmness and indifference. He asked, where are you, the evil dark ancient clan, hiding? Where are the other 4 tribes? Wherever there is light and darkness, there are the figures of our evil and dark ancient clan. As for the 4 clans, they should all be hiding in the gutter. The man in black robe said, have you finished asking? Release me now and wait for later. The evil dark ancient clan rules Taichu heaven and earth, I can let you go. Suddenly there was a dark atmosphere, accompanied by an evil force, and a mysterious black shadow appeared from the void, like an evil spirit under the night. The black shadow reached out and touched the proud divine furnace, and strong evil power immediately poured into it, and actually pulled the man in black robe out of the divine furnace. Xingwei Ancient Wood sensed the dark aura and quickly erupted with powerful power, like a star descending from the sky. The branches and leaves of the giant tree seemed to spread in the air, emitting a magnificent light, filled with stars, illuminating the entire North Palace. The bright starlight pours down, like the birth of the universe in the beginning, sacred and shocking. At the same time, the dark demon became more and more violent, turning into various terrifying red thunder and lightning, raging in the North Palace. The terrifying sounds of ghosts crying and wolves howling echoed in the space, exuding an aura of destruction. The star power of the ancient star tree is extremely powerful. Its light is like a bright meteor, condensing a holy and firm light barrier. Darkness and light collided fiercely over the North Palace, with starlight and evil thunder and lightning constantly intertwining, just like a battlefield. The power emanating from the starry ancient tree instantly suppressed the dark demonic figure, making it unable to struggle for another step. Impossible. This is impossible. The black shadow roared. It frantically tried to resist the power of the ancient star tree, but the endless light made it helpless. After all, your evil and dark power cannot compete with the light of the starry ancient tree. Chen Shang said coldly. The star soul stone in his hand shone with starlight, echoing the power of the ancient starlight tree. Stop being so self-righteous. Yuan said calmly, you have violated the 5 elements and the original intention of the sacred tree. You are destined to be destroyed. The man in black robe still laughed wildly after hearing what everyone said. He didn't seem to care about their warning and sneered, you trash, don't think that I will listen to your nonsense. I am the real strong one. Only our Xie, an ancient clan, only worthy of ruling this world. However, evil darkness was finally defeated by the light power of Xingwei Ancient Wood. Starlight divine / condenses endless light power, like a violent storm, bombarding the evil and dark forces coming from all directions. All kinds of evil thunder and lightning were quickly swallowed up by the light of the starry ancient tree. Is this what you, the evil dark ancient clan, call powerful? Lan Shi smiled coldly, in the face of light, your power is just a flash in the pan. Everyone sighed at the power of the starry ancient tree, and their respect for it became even deeper in their hearts. Under the light of the starry ancient tree, evil darkness gradually lost its power and was finally completely defeated. The man in black robe's wild laughter also stopped suddenly, and his figure began to become blurry, dispersed by the light of the ancient star tree, like a nightmare. Impossible. This is impossible. The man in black robe's voice became weaker and weaker, his voice full of despair. The light of the ancient star tree shone brightly and finally completely enveloped the man in black robe. The dark shadow was turned into nothingness, and the figure of the man in black gradually dissipated, and finally died completely. The entire North Palace regained its tranquility, the starry sky was shining brightly again, and the light of the ancient star trees slowly subsided, returning to its original peaceful state. Everyone looked up at Xingwei and were filled with emotion. They witnessed the power of the ancient Xingwei tree and the power of light. They were thankful that this powerful and ancient sacred tree had not been eroded by the evil darkness, otherwise the consequences would be disastrous. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5365, The Source of the Five Elements. Chen Shang took the 4 palace masters and teleported directly to the Xingwei temple. Here, they all saw the statue of the Qingxing goddess. NCOM Situ's updated chapters are the most complete and comprehensive, and error-free content is repaired in the most timely manner. Due to caching reasons, browser access is recommended. NCOM official website. The huge statue is a little different from before. It is still very big, and it also gives people a shocking and majestic feeling. But the difference is that the sunny star goddess now looks more holy and powerful, and it looks full of vitality. Chu Lan and Shen Suqing were still receiving the inheritance at this time, as if they had fallen into a deep sleep. Is this the Xingwei wood god? Her statue is so big. Yao Hua exclaimed. I have never seen the Xingwei wood god. She looks so beautiful. She is actually the Qingxing queen, but she is also the starry wood god. This matter is very complicated. You can call her the Qingxing goddess. She is the only true ***** in the Taichu world. Chen Shang said. Chen Shang and the 4 palace masters stood in front of the Qingxing goddess statue, feeling the solemn and sacred atmosphere exuded by the statue. The statue of the sunny star goddess seems to have real vitality, and there seems to be a slight light shining in her eyes. Goddess Qingxing, Lanshan murmured softly, her heart filled with awe. She seems to be more powerful than before. Lan Shi sighed, surprised by the changes in the goddess Qingxing. Yuan also felt the changes in the statue of the goddess Qingxing. She stared at the statue, as if she could feel a mysterious power flowing from it. Goddess Qingxing, we are here to seek your help. Chen Shang said solemnly, the Taichu world is under threat from the evil dark ancient clan, and we need your guidance and support. Chen Zhang's voice spread throughout the entire Xingwei temple, as if intersecting with the soul in the Qingxing goddess statue. At his call, the statue of the sunny star goddess glowed even more dazzlingly, as if in response to his request. Suddenly, a warm voice sounded, I don't know if it came from the Qingxing goddess or somewhere else. Master of the main hall and master of the 4th palace, I have sensed your wishes. You are the guardians of the ancient star tree, and your mission is to maintain the balance of the 5 elements of the sacred tree. Today, the Xingwei ancient tree and the other 2 sacred trees are facing an unprecedented crisis. The power of the evil dark ancient clan is becoming increasingly powerful, posing a threat to Taichu heaven and earth. Goddess Qingxing, how should we fight against the evil dark ancient clan? Lan Shi asked. The voice of the goddess Qingxing sounded again, you need to find the source of the 5 elements. The source of the 5 elements is the foundation of the Taichu world and the key to guarding the way of the 5 elements. Only by finding the source of the 5 elements can we stop the threat of the evil ancient tribe. Where is the source of the 5 elements? Lanshan asked urgently. The voice of goddess Qingxing gradually faded away, leaving a trace of thought. I don't know where the source of the 5 elements is, I only know that it is still in the beginning of the world. It is necessary to create a new 5 elements sacred tree through the source of the 5 elements. Only then can we end the chaos among the 5 races. The man in black robe had said before that there once was a 5 elements sacred tree, and the 3 sacred trees were split from the 5 elements sacred tree. Now a new 5 elements sacred tree is needed to end the chaos of the ancient sacred tree clan. This made Chen Shang immediately think of the sacred tree sapling inside Taurus. If a new 5 elements sacred tree is needed, then it is fastest to find the source of the 5 elements and directly transform the small sacred tree of Taurus. And all this seems to have been planned by Qingxing early on. It's just that now facing the threat from the Star Lord forces and the Starry Sky forces, the little sacred tree of Taurus is being watched with eager eyes. Chen Shang thought for a while and said, now the other 2 sacred trees are approaching. As long as we take those 2 sacred trees and gather the power of the 3 sacred trees, we should be able to sense the source of the 5 elements. Find the 5 elements, the source of the 5 elements, and then create a new 5 elements sacred tree through the source of the 5 elements to completely end the chaos. Both Dream Flower Sea and Judian Xuansong have carved out a huge space for themselves. Their spaces are like a small universe, and they both seem to want to devour each other. Chen Shang is currently unable to determine the strength of the Xingwei ancient tree and whether it can swallow and fuse the 2 sacred trees. If the estimate is not accurate, it will most likely be swallowed by the opponent. At this moment, Lanchen took out his Star Soul Stone, and a message came from the Star Soul Stone. She frowned lightly and said, "No, there's a commotion in the city under the starry ancient tree. It's the elders of the 8th Dean and the city lord who are forcing us, the lord of the 4th palace, to show up. This group of bastards, we didn't touch them before because the Xingwei ancient wood was in chaos, so we ignored them. After giving them a little power, do they really think that the 8th house can override the 4th house?" Yao Hua immediately killed him. He got angry and said coldly, "Just leave these to me." Chen Shang frowned. It was really a headache for this situation to occur at this time. Their most important task now is to find the source of the 5 elements, but they have to deal with the troubles of these 8th Dean elders and city lords. These people are really ungrateful. Lan Shi snorted coldly, "Since they forced us to show up, let's go and deal with these bastards." Wait a minute. Chen Shang stopped everyone. "We don't have to waste time and energy fighting with them. Our goal is to find the source of the 5 elements and let them go. But they will hinder our actions," Lanchen said worriedly. "Don't worry." Chen Shang looked indifferent. Although the power of the Xingwei ancient tree cannot directly swallow the 2 sacred trees at this moment, it can stop them in another way. Everyone looked at Chen Shang in confusion, and he continued to explain. "The Xingwei ancient wood can transfer part of its power to you, so that you have stronger power when taking actions. Although the elders and city lords of the 8th Dean have united, they are still in the star. With Wei Gumu's power, he is definitely no match for your 4th palace." Yuan nodded in agreement. "The master of the main hall is right, we don't have to contend with them. Our time is very precious, and we must find the source of the 5 elements as soon as possible." Yao Hua also smiled. "In that case, then I will wait to see them disgraced under the power of Xingwei ancient tree." Chen Shang said. "Furthermore, I think the 8th Academy and the cities have been infiltrated by external forces. There should be people from the Xian ancient clan mixed in the 8th Academy." Yuan nodded and said, "It is true that those guys in the 8th Academy are becoming more and more evil without the constraints of the Xingwei blood oath. Otherwise, we will use our tricks to fish out the evil dark ancient clan. The Dream Flower Sea and the 9 Heavens Mysterious Pine are very likely to be invaded by the evil dark ancient clan. Next, the evil dark ancient clan will definitely control the power of the Dream Flower Sea and the 9 Heaven Mysterious Pine to attack our Xingwei ancient tree." Lan Shishi was very worried about this. "I don't know if Xingwei ancient wood can stop it." Chen Shang thought for a while and said, "It seems that a big battle is inevitable. Your strength is not enough, you have to improve." The 3 palace masters who joined forces before were unable to defeat the black-robed man. If the strong men from the evil dark ancient clan could borrow the power of the Dream Flower Sea and the 9 Heavens Xuansong, the 4 palace masters would be even more unbeatable. World-Defying Dan God Chapter 5366, Refining the Star Soul Stone. The gap between us and the men in black robes is indeed huge, but we can't improve our cultivation in a short time. This requires a long period of seclusion and practice. Yuan bit her lip, looking very self-blame, and said, "Hall Master, we are dragging you down." Lan Shi sighed softly. "I wonder if the evil dark ancient clan will give us time to improve. Maybe, they will launch the most violent offensive soon." Yao Hua said solemnly, "No matter how strong they are, I will never back down and will fight them to the end." Lan Chan looked at Chen Shang and said softly, "Master of the main hall, you are very resourceful, and you can also promote the evolution of the Star Soul Stone. The previously Yuan Star Soul Stone was refined into the Star Glory Luotian umbrella by you, and the power you displayed is also very impressive." The other 3 palace masters all looked at Chen Shang. They had also seen the Xingwei Luotian umbrella, which was indeed very powerful. They also knew that Chen Shang had refined it in a short time. Chen Shang smiled, then looked at the statue of Qingxing Goddess, and said, "Don't worry, the Qingxing Goddess will naturally help you improve your cultivation. You practice well, and during the process of cultivation, I will help you refine the Star Soul Stone." Yuan was a little surprised. She looked at the statue of the Qingxing goddess, her eyes sparkling, and she couldn't believe it. She said, "Will the Qingxing goddess really help us?" Over the years, the Qingxing goddess has transformed into the Xingwei wood god. Just imparting some inheritance to us, and even integrating the ancient Jupiter core are all things we can accomplish with great difficulty. In the Xingwei temple, the voice of the Qingxing goddess sounded again. "For palace masters, you need to quickly improve your strength. Facing the threat of the evil dark ancient clan, you cannot slack off at all." The light in the Qingxing goddess statue instantly became dazzling, and 4 starlights shot out from the statue, shrouding Yuan, Lanchen, Lanxi and Yaohua respectively. "Give me the Star Soul Stone," Chen Shang shouted softly. Lan Chan, Lanxi and Yaohua, in surprise, hurriedly handed the Star Soul Stone to Chen Shang. Qingxing's voice surprised them. They just handed the Star Soul Stone to Chen Shang and immediately entered the state. Yuan felt the star power in her body surge wildly, and her body seemed to be filled with stars, merging with the power of the ancient star tree. The Starlight Temple seemed to be a huge star-melting furnace, in which the 4 palace masters received the blessings of the sunny star goddess. This is the power of the starry ancient tree. Lanxi looked firm, and her beautiful star-like eyes began to emit a dazzling blue light, becoming even sharper and sharper. The Xingwei divine lotus that Lanchen sat on bloomed with dazzling brilliance, and the blooming divine lotus was like a fairy descending to the mortal world. Yaohua is surrounded by strong star power, and her eyes are shining with bright starlight, as if she can see through the mysteries of the heaven, earth and universe. They have all entered a state of seclusion and practice, and they need to be in seclusion for a period of time to complete the stage breakthrough. Next, Chen Shang will use the ancient Jupiter star core to refine the star soul stones of Lan Chan, Yaohua and Lanxi, and refine their star soul stones into powerful divine weapons. I don't know what it will be like. It should be closely related to themselves, right? Chen Shang first refined Yaohua's star soul stone. Yaohua had a bold personality and was very capable of fighting. He guessed that Yaohua's star soul stone would most likely be turned into a very powerful weapon. Having had the experience of refining the Yuan star soul stone, Chen Shang is now very comfortable in the process. He can easily fuse the ancient wood star core with the star soul stone. He can now also use the power of the Xingwei ancient wood to do so. In just half a day, he successfully refined it. This time was different from before. Not only was it fast, but it was also very smooth and took shape in no time. Yaohua's star soul stone turned into a pale golden sword. This sword didn't look strange, but when Chen Shang held it in his hand, he felt an unusually domineering power. The hilt of the sword is heavy, as if it contains infinite power, and the golden light shining slightly on the sword body is like boiling lava, flowing with a violent and uncontrollable aura. At this time, Yaohua, who was practicing in seclusion, opened his eyes and waved his hand, and the sword flew over. "Thank you to the master of the hall, this sword is simply my dream sword," Yaohua said with joy. "What's your name?" Chen Shang asked with a smile. "It's called the Star-Slashing Divine Sword," Yaohua said with a smile. "Master of the main hall, I will continue to practice." Chen Shang didn't know the specifics of this sword. After all, only Yaohua could exert its true power. Next he refined Lanchen's Star Soul Stone. During the refining process, Lanchen also stopped her own practice and took the initiative to help Chen Shang in refining. She seemed to have felt the call of her Star Soul Stone and came to help. Chen Shang didn't say anything about it. Most of the day passed before Chen Shang opened the world-proud divine furnace and took out a ball of air that glowed with fire. Lanchen's Star Soul Stone is inside this air mass. Chen Shang took Lanchen's Star Soul Stone, stared at it, and began to activate his divine power for the final stage of awakening. In his hands, the air mass gradually emitted bright starlight, like a small star. With the injection of Chen Zhang's divine power, the stars became brighter and brighter, blooming with dazzling light. Gradually, the light condensed into a gorgeous flame. In the center of the flame, a delicate and beautiful fire-like lotus was blooming. This star-fire lotus exudes fiery energy, full of vitality and vitality. Each of its lotus petals seems to contain endless star power, exuding a powerful aura. Although the star-fire lotus looks gentle, its strength lies in its defensive power. The power of stars it contains forms an indestructible protective shield that can withstand attacks from any direction, making Lanchen more comfortable in battle. Not only that, the star-fire lotus also possesses extremely strong destructive power. Chen Shang looked at the star glory fire lotus in his hand and couldn't help but admired. Lan, with this, your combat power will definitely be greatly improved, and both defense and attack will reach new heights. Lan was very excited and was only grateful to Chen Shang. As the power of the Starfire Lotus was injected into Lan's body, she felt the power of the star in her body surge like a tide. A powerful energy made her feel like she was standing on the top of the god of war. The protective shield of the Starfire Lotus surrounds her, emitting soft yet solid starlight, like a bright star flower. Lan tried to guide the power of the Starfire Lotus to her arms, and suddenly she felt strong starlight surging between her arms, as if the power of the Great Avenue was condensed in it. She clenched her fist and struck, and the starlight emitted by the Starfire Lotus instantly condensed into an extremely powerful star aura, which rushed straight out, as if it could tear the void apart. "It's amazing," Lan exclaimed happily. She could feel the powerful destructive power contained in the Starfire Lotus, which made her full of confidence in the future battle. Do you like this site? Donate here. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5367, Star Water Mirror. After her Star Soul Stone evolves, Lan's own state of mind will also be improved. Her next practice will also be affected by the Starfire Lotus, and she will make new discoveries. Chen Shang watched Lan happily return to practice beside the Qingxing goddess statue, and felt very happy inside, and then went on to refine Lan Zi's Star Soul Stone. Lan Shi did not wake up to help like Lan Chan, but Chen Shang could vaguely feel that Lan Zi's consciousness floated over and was closely connected to the Star Soul Stone. But not long after, Lan Zi's body emitted bursts of blue brilliance, and then converged into clear and beautiful blue streams, slowly flowing connected to Chen Zhang's proud divine furnace. Lan Shi is also helping his Star Soul Stone evolve. Chen Shang felt a little incredible, and at the same time he also didn't understand why this phenomenon didn't occur when he was refining the Yaohua Star Soul Stone. Maybe Yaohua is special. Chen Shang looked at Yaohua. Her Star Soul Stone turned into a big sword. That sword was not weak at all. With the injection of Lan Zi's Taichu divine power, the proud world divine furnace is running faster and faster. The Star Soul Stone undergoes various explosions as waves of Taichu divine power impact, and begins to change. This time it seems that the evolution can be completed directly in the Proud World Divine Furnace. Chen Shang looked at the inside of the Proud World Divine Furnace, and at the same time activated the power of the Xingwei Ancient Wood to refine it. When refining the Star Soul Stone, Chen Shang had already put the Ancient Jupiter Star Core into it, which itself has extremely strong energy. The Ancient Jupiter Star Core was integrated into the Star Soul Stone, coupled with the power of Lanshi and Xingwei Ancient Wood. The Star Soul Stone quickly completed its evolution. It's a blue mirror. Chen Shang opened the Proud World Divine Furnace and took out a blue round mirror. The frame looked like blue crystal, and the mirror surface undulated like water. After Chen Shang picked it up, he quickly realized how powerful this starry water mirror was. Lan Zi's Star Water Mirror is a magnificent artifact, with a rich blue crystal texture on the frame, and the sparkling light seems to contain the power of endless water. The mirror surface emits water-like fluctuations, as clear and pure as a lake, but it possesses infinite magical abilities. The biggest feature of the Star Water Mirror is its ability to change. It can grow or shrink freely, from being as tiny as a mustard seed in the palm of your hand to covering up the sun and sky like a vast lake. Everything is controlled by Blue Creek. When an enemy attacks, she can enlarge the Star Water Mirror to form a huge water barrier, blocking attacks from any direction. What's even more amazing is that the Star Water Mirror can release powerful water energy. As long as you think about Lan Shi, the surging water power will gather on the mirror and condense into a huge water column, just like thousands of rivers converging in one place. They can irrigate a piece of land, and can also hit the enemy like a flood in battle. The power contained in these water pillars is extremely majestic, enough to swallow everything, just like a great river, making the enemy feel the power of destruction. The water energy of the Star Water Mirror can easily annihilate the enemy's offensive, and can also completely submerge powerful enemies in the ocean. The magical ability of the Xingwei Water Mirror allows Lan Shi to maneuver on the battlefield with ease. She can turn water into a soldier, using the fluidity and majestic power of water to pose a great deterrent and threat to the enemy. This artifact made her the master of water, and she became famous in the magnificent battles in the Taichu world. Chen Shang woke up from the blue dream. He had just come into contact with the Starry Water Mirror, and his whole body was suddenly immersed in the various uses of the Starry Water Mirror. This situation did not happen before when they helped Lan, Yuan, and Yaohua refine the Star Soul Stone. He guessed that he and Lanshi had fought together for a while and had a tacit understanding of each other, so Lan Zai's Star Soul Stone deliberately let him see his abilities after turning into a starry water mirror, so that he could continue to do so in the future. Cooperate with the Xingwei water mirror to fight in tacit understanding. Master of the Hall, my starry water mirror is so powerful. Thank you. Lan Zai's soft voice came into Chen Zhang's mind, and the starry water mirror slowly floated towards Lanshi. Although he was practicing, he used his soul to communicate with Chen Shang. It's very powerful, I'm even a little envious of it. Chen Shang said with a smile. There's no need to thank me, I'm your palace master, so it's natural for me to help you. If I can see your Star Soul Stone turn into a powerful divine weapon, I will also so happy for you. Master of the Hall, don't always think about us, you should also improve. Lanshi gently warned. Okay, I'm going to practice. I hope that after I practice, I can see the Master of the Hall become more powerful. Chen Shang has actually improved a lot. His soul is very powerful. It was cultivated by him after swallowing the powerful ancient wood inner demon. In addition, he has also integrated the ancient wood star core, and his own star the soul stone is still the most powerful one. Okay, I'll refine the Star Soul Stone into the divine mirror of 6 paths. Chen Shang suddenly had a very bold idea. He has almost figured out now that the Star Soul Stone in his hand is equivalent to the core of the entire Xingwei ancient tree. If the Star Soul Stone is successfully refined into the 6 paths divine mirror, then the Xingwei ancient wood can be included in the 6 paths divine mirror. If he succeeded, he might be able to activate the 6 paths divine mirror through the Xingwei ancient wood, and then take away all the dream flower sea and the 9 heavens mysterious pine. When we find the source of the 5 elements in the future, we can recreate the 5 elements sacred tree. These 3 ancient sacred trees are very important in the Taichu world and are also the source of great power. I must have absolute control over them. Chen Shang took a deep breath, and then discussed with Sister Xiaojing whether it was feasible. After hearing this, Sister Xiaojing felt that it was completely feasible, but there would be a lot of movement by then. And before that, all the evildoers in the space where Xingwei ancient wood is located must be eliminated. For example, if the group of people from the 8th courtyard followed the Xingwei ancient tree into the 6 paths divine mirror, they would definitely cause chaos inside. Of course, Chen Shang would not tell the Lord of the 4th Palace about this matter. If everything goes well, they may not be able to notice Xingwei Gumu entering the 6 paths divine mirror. Su Qing and Chu Lan should soon accept the inheritance of Qingxing, and their strength will definitely improve a lot. I will go with them to clear out the 8th Academy. Chen Shang had not planned to attack the 8th Academy before, but now it was also because he wanted to incorporate the starry ancient tree into the 6 paths divine mirror that he needed to carry out a major cleansing. Suddenly, the Xingwei temple trembled slightly. There's a situation outside. Chen Shang quickly stood up and teleported outside. I saw an area in Xingwei ancient wood where a large number of people gathered, and there was a strong evil aura on their bodies. They are the guys from the 8th Academy. Are they going to destroy the ancient Xingwei tree? Chen Shang frowned and said, we must destroy them. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5368, Kanglong Ancient Root. Chen Shang doesn't know the strength of the 8th Academy yet, but he feels that the Xingwei ancient wood has no longer been eroded by evil forces, so with the power of the Xingwei ancient wood, he will definitely be able to fight against the 8 powerful elders of the 8th house. A dozen. He originally planned to wait for Chu Lan and Shen Suqing, but they were still practicing, so he did not disturb them. Instead, he left the Xingwei temple alone and teleported directly outside. Under the ancient star tree, there are a total of 8 main huge tree roots, which branch out in 8 directions. Looking down from a high altitude, these 8 main tree roots look like 8 giant dragons. Chen Shang closed his eyes and felt the 8 tree roots through the Star Soul Stone, trying to understand these roots. 8 main tree roots spread under the ancient star tree. They are tall and strong, like 8 dragons winding around. These tree roots protrude from the ground. They are hundreds of thousands of feet high and tens of thousands of feet wide. They are extremely majestic. These huge tree roots exude a faint starlight, like a brilliant galaxy, and the flowing starlight reveals an ancient and mysterious atmosphere. The surface of the tree roots is covered with lines, as if they are the intersecting paths of stars, highlighting the supreme dignity of the ancient star tree. The roots of the trees are intertwined, forming complex natural tunnels, and walking through them is like walking in a maze. At the intersection of tree roots, the root system of the ancient star tree is even more intertwined, forming a huge root hub. Standing on the root of the tree, Chen Shang felt a deep power, which seemed to contain the infinite wisdom and power of the ancient star tree. Under the tree roots, the terrain is unique and full of the mysterious power of the ancient star trees. The heaven and earth are filled with a sacred and solemn atmosphere, which makes people feel extremely awe-inspiring. These 8 huge dragon-like tree roots extend in 8 directions, each representing different attribute powers. Each dragon is the embodiment of the power of the ancient star tree. They are closely attached to the ancient star tree, and together they maintain the strong foundation of the ancient star tree. Chen Shang was suspended in the air at this moment, overlooking the 8 dragon-like tree roots, as if he was in a sea of stars, each star shining with incomparable dazzling brilliance. The 8 main tree roots set off the majesty of the ancient star tree, which makes people shocked. No wonder the 8th Academy wants to destroy these 8 tree roots. Every time a root is destroyed, the power of the starry ancient tree will be weakened. After Chen Shang learned about it, he already knew the 8th Academy's intention. There were so many people in the 8th courtyard, hundreds of thousands in total. They all gathered under one of the tree roots. Compared with the huge tree roots, they looked like ants. Chen Shang couldn't help but secretly sigh. The grandeur of the starry ancient tree made these hundreds of thousands of people look as insignificant as ants. However, the number of these people cannot be ignored. Although their power alone is relatively weak, with their numerical advantage and the evil power they control, they can still pose a serious threat to the starry ancient tree. Chen Shang carefully observed the people gathered in the 8th courtyard. There were some strong people among them, but compared to the power of Xingwei ancient wood, their power could only be considered insignificant. Although there are many people in the 8th Academy, it is not easy to destroy the foundation of the starry ancient tree. Chen Shang thought calmly. Xingwei ancient wood had previously been corrupted by evil forces and suffered considerable damage due to the invasion of the inner demons of the ancient wood, but its depth was far beyond ordinary people's imagination. The power of stars contained in these 8 huge tree roots, even if many people from the 8th Academy join forces, will not be able to cause a devastating blow to them. At most, they will open a gap and then inject evil power. Chen Shang did not dare to take it lightly. There were a large number of people in the 8th Academy. If they decided to join forces, they would use a large number of attack methods and some forces would cooperate secretly. Maybe it can cause some damage to the ancient Xingwei tree. He must act quickly to stop their destructive behavior. With so many people, it's difficult to catch them all at once. I have to find the leader among them first. Chen Shang thought about it in his mind, and he knew that in order to stop the destruction of the 8th courtyard, he had to eliminate it from the source. After making the decision, Chen Shang flashed and flew into the air, flying towards the place where everyone in the 8th courtyard gathered. At the same time, he urged the Azure Dragon Demon slaying knife in his hand to prepare for any danger that might arise. As Chen Shang approached, everyone in the 8th courtyard gradually became aware of his presence, and there was a sudden uproar. However, in the face of Shen Zhang's powerful momentum, these noises gradually subsided, and everyone felt an indescribable sense of oppression in their hearts. Who is it? How dare you break into the territory of our 8th Academy? A high-level expert from the 8th Academy shouted angrily. Get out of here if you have the guts, don't be sneaking around here. Another member of the 8th Academy shouted arrogantly. Chen Shang ignored their threats. With his deep eyes, he directly locked onto one of the high-level experts in black robes. He felt that there were obvious evil fluctuations on the other person's body. He should be the leader of the evil dark ancient clan hidden in the 8th courtyard. 1. Chen Shang flew down from the air without hesitation, his speed was unbelievable. In the horrified eyes of everyone, his sword light was already approaching the black-robed strong man. The Azure Dragon Demon slaying knife in his hand emitted a bright green light, and there seemed to be a blue dragon hovering on the blade. As he flew into the air, the sword flashed, and the terrifying sword energy was like a dragon roaring into the sky, with astonishing momentum. The face of the strong man in black robe changed drastically. He felt the strong pressure from Chen Zhang's approach, and he also knew that the enemy in front of him was not easy to deal with. The indescribable sense of oppression made him feel suffocated, and he instinctively felt that his life was in danger. However, as the leader of the evil dark ancient clan hiding here, he naturally would not back down easily. He gritted his teeth, gathered all his strength, and faced Chen Zhang's attack. A huge black skull appeared in front of him. Chen Zhang's Azure Dragon Demon slaying knife struck the black skull, and a violent collision sounded, emitting a powerful impact that caused slight fluctuations in the surrounding space. This black-robed strong man was no ordinary person. He tried his best to resist, and the evil energy in his body fluctuated even more violently, as if he wanted to destroy everything. The situation reached a stalemate, and other people from the 8th Academy also began to join the battle. They launched an attack around Chen Shang, trying to trap him. Chen Shang calmed down in his heart, and the Azure Dragon Demon Slaying Sword suddenly danced non-stop, turning into sharp blades of light, blocking all attacks from all directions. "Is this all you have?" Chen Shang sneered, and the sword light suddenly burst out with stronger momentum, and he slashed at the black-robed strong man again. The face of the black-robed strong man suddenly changed. He felt the destructive power from the Azure Dragon Demon Slaying Knife, and felt panic in his heart. He quickly defended with all his strength, but still could not completely resist Chen Zhang's attack. A lightning-like blade flashed across, and the black-robed strongman let out a scream. His body was cut with a bone-deep wound, and black blood spurted out. He was severely injured by Chen Zhang's blade and was unable to fight. World-Defying Dan God Chapter 5369, Yuenshin Goes to Battle. Seeing this scene, the other members of the 8th Academy were terrified. They did not expect that Chen Zhang's strength was so terrifying, and they were frightened by this mysterious and powerful enemy. Chen Zhang's eyes were sharp, his figure was like lightning, and he shuttled between the enemies like a bolt of lightning. His Azure Dragon Demon Slaying Sword turned into sharp blades of light, sweeping across all directions. For a time, everyone in the 8th courtyard was unable to resist his attack. Within a few seconds of lightning sparks, thousands of people were killed. Most of the people immediately fled in all directions, unable to retreat in time. "He is too strong, we are no match for him," someone shouted in horror. "Go back quickly and report to the elder of the 8th Dean." Another person also shouted in panic. Everyone retreated one after another, preparing to go back and report this terrible enemy to the elders of the 8th courtyard. Chen Shang did not give them a chance to escape. He smiled coldly and continued his offensive, repelling several enemies who blocked him. "Everyone from the 8th courtyard should stay with me." Chen Zhang's eyes were cold and his voice was majestic. He attacked without mercy, killing those members of the 8th Academy who tried to escape one by one, without giving them any chance to breathe. Everyone in the 8th Academy sensed Chen Zhang's insurmountable strength and fell into panic. They did not dare to fight anymore, so they could only surrender and wait for Chen Zhang's disposal. Chen Shang looked at the people in the 8th courtyard in front of him and said coldly, "You evil disciples, how dare you destroy the ancient wood's divine roots, you will definitely pay the price for your crimes today." His voice resounded throughout heaven and earth, as shocking as thunder. Under his pressure, all the members of the 8th Academy turned pale and their hearts were filled with despair. They understood that they could no longer escape from Chen Zhang's grasp. Everyone in the 8th Academy was scared, but the black-robed men from the Xian ancient clan did not flinch. At this moment, a large number of men in black robes rushed towards Chen Shang, and violent energy burst out from their bodies. They wanted to severely injure Chen Shang through self-destruction. Chen Zhang's eyes narrowed and he noticed the unusual behavior of the man in black robe. These men in black robes were obviously preparing to use self-destruction to deal with him and severely damage him with the evil power. Not daring to be careless, he immediately activated the star power in his body to form a solid shield, fully resisting the evil energy that was about to burst out. The people in black robes let out shrill howls, and their bodies began to tremble violently, and then exploded one after another. The demonic aura spread out, filling the entire space of Xingwei ancient wood. A large number of men in black robes let out ear-piercing roars, and thick black mist began to emerge from their bodies. The black mist contained an evil aura, and it spread instantly with the explosion. These black mists seemed to be alive, spreading rapidly and shrouding Chen Shang. Chen Zhang's heart tightened. He could feel that the black mist contained destructive power. Once it was corroded, the consequences would be disastrous. He did not hesitate and used all his power of starlight. The starlight on the surface of the shield instantly dazzled, forming an indestructible barrier. The black mist collided violently with the star shield, making a terrifying explosion sound. Chen Shang felt that his body was shaken by the powerful impact, and the entire shield was shaking. He did not flinch, gritted his teeth and persisted, constantly adjusting the defensive direction of the shield, trying his best to resist the erosion of the black mist. Time passed by, and the terrifying impact lasted for a while. The black mist gradually dissipated, and Chen Zhang's shield gradually returned to stability. When the black fog completely dissipated, the surrounding scene had completely changed. The space of the Xingwei ancient tree was full of messes, the earth cracked, and a black hole was blown out of the giant mountain-like root wall, as if it had experienced a catastrophe. The men in black robes had long since disappeared. The moment they blew themselves up, they completely disappeared from this area. There were tens of thousands of disciples from the 8th Academy around them, and they had just been blown up into pieces. Chen Shang stood on the spot panting, the shield had disappeared, and his body was full of scars. It was obvious that he had just experienced an extremely fierce battle. He took a deep breath and was secretly glad in his heart. If he hadn't reacted in time, he might have been in danger now. These evil dark ancient clans should not be underestimated, he thought to himself, and his understanding of the evil dark ancient clan deepened. Fortunately, even if I attract most of the attacks, otherwise the tree roots will definitely be blown off. Although a large hole was blown into the roots of the ancient tree, the Xingwei ancient tree has extremely strong resilience and is rapidly repairing itself at the moment. Chen Shang flew into the air and continued to the next tree root. Every tree root was targeted, and he had to rush there as soon as possible. At this time, he also mobilized the power of the ancient star tree through the star soul stone to enhance the defense of the tree roots to prevent it from being destroyed by the self-destruction of those black-robed men. Through the star soul stone, he quickly teleported above other tree roots. 4 of the 8 huge main tree roots had a hole blown out. Fortunately, the ancient Xingwei tree also defended itself and was not cut off, otherwise the ancient Xingwei tree would have been severely damaged. They made these holes to inject evil and dark power into the ancient Xingwei tree. Chen Shang took a deep breath and looked at the thousands of black-robed men in front of him. These annoying things had completely annoyed him. He knew that these men in black robes could no longer continue to destroy the ancient Xingwei tree, so he sped up and flew in the direction of the 5th tree root, where the men in black robes gathered most densely. When the people in black robes noticed Chen Zhang's approach, they immediately roared and bitten, their eyes full of hatred and madness. "You alone want to stop us?" A man in black robe roared angrily. He rushed towards Chen Shang, his body filled with black mist, and he was obviously preparing to self-destruct again. Chen Shang smiled coldly and ignored the threats from these people. Starlight shone all over his body, he held the azure dragon demon slaying knife and let out a dragon roar. The green dragon demon slaying knife shines brightly, like a blue dragon hovering in the sky, and the blade is filled with powerful star power. He instantly rushed towards the man in black robe, the light of his sword cut through the void, and with extremely terrifying power, he slashed directly at the man in black robe. The man in black robe screamed strangely and wanted to dodge, but found that the speed of the sword was extremely fast and it was impossible to dodge. The sword flashed across, and the man in black robe let out a scream, his body was cut in half, and blood spattered everywhere. This scene made the other men in black robes change their expressions. They did not dare to approach rashly anymore and retreated one after another. Chen Shang did not stop, he continued to move forward, waving the azure dragon demon slaying sword in his hand like the wind, slashing out one after another in turn, knocking back the men in black robes. His figure flickered left and right, like a stream of light, shuttling between the men in black robes. Wherever he went, the darkness was dispersed by the stars. The people in black robes wanted to fight back, but they couldn't get close at all. They were suppressed by Chen Zhang's fast and fierce attacks and couldn't breathe. "Explode yourself," a man in black robes shouted in horror. Chen Zhang's eyes flashed with golden light, releasing his heart and soul. The spirit soul is like his golden shadow, with brilliant golden light and lifelike appearance. He rushes out holding the golden green dragon demon slaying knife. This is the most powerful power in his body. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5370, The Mirror Swallows Evil. Chen Zhang's eyes flashed with golden light, and he tightly concentrated the power of his heart and soul. A golden shadow suddenly flew out, holding a golden blue dragon demon slaying knife, and rushed towards the leader of the black-robed man like a meteor. The face of the leader of the black-robed man changed drastically. He felt the powerful power of the soul. This was a power that they could not match. The golden green dragon demon slaying knife cut through the void, emitting a cold blade light, so fast that the leader of the black-robed man had no room to react. "No!" the leader of the black-robed man screamed. He tried his best to dodge, but it was already too late. The golden green dragon demon slaying sword fell down and struck directly on the leader of the black-robed man, making a deafening tearing sound. The leader of the black-robed man let out a shrill howl, and his entire body was cut in half under the light of the golden sword, with blood and internal organs splattering everywhere. A strong force of evil and darkness erupted from his corpse, instantly filling the space of the Xingwei ancient wood, like an evil wind, making people feel suffocated. Chen Zhang's soul and soul shone with golden light, and he tried his best to resist the erosion of that evil and dark force and prevent it from affecting his own strength. Seeing their leader being beheaded, the other men in black robes could no longer resist. They let out pitiful howls and chose to self-destruct, trying to use their last strength to inflict serious damage to Chen Shang. Chen Shang watched this scene indifferently, and the soul released a more powerful golden light, dispelling all the evil and dark power of the black-robed men who self-destructed, turning them into nothingness. After a while, under the roots of the ancient trees, the howls of the black-robed people gradually disappeared, replaced by Chen Zhang's sharp aura. He stood quietly under the ancient star tree, the starlight on his body was flickering, and his soul and soul were still moving rapidly, resisting the erosion of the power of evil and darkness. The 8 roots of the ancient star tree now have several gaps created by the self-explosion. Although the ancient star tree is not painful or itchy, these gaps can allow evil and dark power to pour into it. The people in black robes in the 8th courtyard were already dead. In Shen Zhang's opinion, these people were deliberately arranged to die. After these people died, part of the evil force that spread out gathered in the gaps in the tree roots, and then sent out waves of space shock waves. Sure enough, it is the evil dark ancient clan who is causing trouble. They are going to inject evil darkness, power next. Chen Shang has now roughly guessed the evil dark ancient clan's conspiracy. The purpose is to weaken the ancient Xingwei tree, and then suppress it through the dreamy flower sea and Judian Xuansong they control. The side of Judian Xuansong and Dream Flower Sea should have fallen. Chen Zhang's expression was solemn. He only hoped that the masters of the 4th palace could come out of seclusion soon. After their strength was improved, they could fight against the evil and dark ancient clan in the Dream Flower Sea and the 9 Heavens mysterious pine. Not long after, Chen Shang felt that the surrounding space was fluctuating slightly, and waves of evil and dark power penetrated in along with the fluctuations in the space, and then rushed towards the gap where the tree roots were blown out. Trouble. Chen Shang could only control his soul and soul to rush towards the gap, but too much evil and dark power poured in. He took out the Star Soul Stone, held it tightly in his hand, and then controlled the Star Tree to burst out with powerful star power. The canopy of the ancient star tree, which blocks out the sky and the sun, seems to be shining with stars all over the sky at this moment, knocking down a large amount of star power, and then gathering it in the gap at the root of the tree. The divine power of the stars gathered to form a circular light shield, which was dazzling and shrouded the gap in the tree roots. The evil and dark power impacted on the light shield, making a roaring scream, but it was still unable to penetrate the barrier of starlight. Chen Shang stared at the light shield closely, and the soul spirit continued to guide the star power to maintain the stability of the light shield. Although the evil and dark forces keep coming, the light shield seems to have infinite absorption ability, quickly dissolving and purifying these evil and dark forces. Time gradually passed, and Chen Shang felt that his soul and soul seemed to be getting heavier and heavier, and the star power was continuously being lost. But he gritted his teeth, never flinched, and worked hard to maintain this light shield, preventing any trace of evil power from eroding the core of the ancient star tree. The divine power of starlight is tumbling in the light shield, as if there is a star twinkling in it, and it is engaged in a fierce battle with the evil and dark forces. As time goes by, the light of the mask gradually weakens, and the star power is also continuously consumed. Chen Shang understands that this is a protracted battle and he must persist until the last moment. The evil forces seem to feel the weakening of the star power in the light shield, and they continued to increase the intensity of their attacks. But every impact was firmly resisted by the light shield, and the starlight continued to shine. Time seemed to become extremely long, but finally, with Shen Zhang's insistence, the evil forces began to tire, and the frequency of impacts slowed down. The star power within the light shield seemed to have found an opportunity and began to gradually fight back. They turned into streams of light, like bright meteors, shuttled through the light shield, and launched a fierce confrontation with the evil and dark forces. The evil dark ancient clan must have mobilized the power of the Dream Flower Sea and the 9 Heavens Xuansong. These **** actually transformed the power of the 2 sacred trees into evil dark power. Chen Shang was furious in his heart, and finally couldn't bear it any longer, and he released the 6 Paths Divine Mirror. The Six Paths Divine Mirror suddenly became extremely huge, suspended high in the sky, but the mirror's surface turned into a black vortex, producing a super-devouring force. At this moment, Chen Shang seemed to be integrated with the divine mirror of Six Paths. Then he used the devouring demonic technique. He wanted to swallow all the evil and dark power shrouded in the starry ancient tree. The black vortex released by the Six Paths Divine Mirror expanded rapidly, covering the space around the ancient star tree like a huge dark magic net. The evil forces felt the devouring power of the Six Paths Divine Mirror and began to resist in fear, but no matter how hard they struggled, they could not escape the devouring power of the Six Paths Divine Mirror. The space around the ancient star tree became distorted, and the evil forces were ruthlessly drawn into the black vortex. The swallowing power of the Six Paths Divine Mirror is like a demon prison, swallowing up the evil and dark power bit by bit. Chen Shang felt the powerful power of the Six Paths Divine Mirror, and his soul and soul merged with it, guiding the movement of the vortex and accelerating the devouring process. Chen Shang used the Star Soul Stone to activate the power of the Xingwei Ancient Tree and inject it into the Six Paths Divine Mirror. The world-proud Divine Furnace absorbs the evil and dark power in the space inside the Six Paths Divine Mirror. Chen Shang mainly mobilizes the power of the starry ancient wood to run the world-proud Divine Furnace to refine the swallowed evil and dark power. These refined powers were very pure, and Chen Shang temporarily kept them inside the proud world Divine Furnace, to be used in the future to cultivate his soul. The black vortex in the Six Paths Divine Mirror is constantly twisting, like a bottomless abyss, swallowing up the evil and dark power. Chen Zhang's soul was perfectly integrated with the Six Paths Divine Mirror, and he could feel the powerful devouring power that was extremely crazy. The power of the starry ancient wood is gradually injected into the Six Paths Divine Mirror, complementing the process of devouring it. Under Shen Zhang's control, the Divine Mirror of Six Paths and the ancient star tree formed a strange resonance, which pushed the process of devouring, refining and purifying to the extreme. Chen Shang has the upper hand at this moment, and the evil and dark forces around the Xingwei Ancient Tree have shown their decline. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5371, The Remnant Soul of Ancient Trees. The proud Divine Furnace is constantly operating, emitting dazzling light and drawing in the evil and dark power it has swallowed. After being refined by the proud Divine Furnace, the evil and dark power has become purer and contains huge potential. Chen Shang and Sister Xiao Jing focused on controlling the Six Paths Divine Mirror, constantly guiding the power of the starry ancient wood to maintain the rhythm of devouring, ensuring that every bit of evil and dark power was fully refined. When all the evil and dark power was swallowed up and refined, the black vortex gradually shrank and finally disappeared. The Six Paths Divine Mirror has been restored to its original state, while streams of pure power are stored inside the proud world Divine Furnace. They represent the essence that has been corroded by the evil forces, and now they are glowing with new light. The Xingwei Ancient Tree releases its power in its own territory and becomes so powerful after it is put into operation. Chen Shang also understood now that Xingwei Gumu had no method to deal with the evil and dark power before, so he only had powerful power but could not use it. Chen Shang is equivalent to a magical power. He can guide the power of the starry ancient tree to fight against all kinds of invading evil and dark forces. This is also the reason why Qingxing and the god of creation led him to come here. If he hadn't appeared, it would most likely have been his daughter Shen Suqing who would have done it. She would definitely not be as good as him, or even it may also fail. If all three sacred trees are controlled by me, then I should be the overlord of Tianxi Ancient Wilderness. By then, Tianxi Ancient Wilderness will be my territory, and I can maintain my control over Tianxi Ancient Wilderness through the three sacred trees. Quote, Chen Shang feels more and more the importance of the three sacred trees, so he must control them as soon as possible. This will be his reliance against those powerful star masters in the future, and it can also be used for him to survive the upcoming great changes. The overall strength of the Divine Tree Ancient Clan is extremely powerful, and Chen Shang cannot possibly destroy them. When the time comes, the Divine Tree Ancient Clan will definitely flee to Taichu World, and it is inevitable that the entire Taichu World will fall into chaos. Chen Shang controlled his soul to enter the Six Paths Divine Mirror and entered the world-proud Divine Furnace. He wanted to improve his soul as soon as possible. On the surface, he now appears to be at the 30th level of the Taichu realm, but his soul cultivation level is extremely high. Chen Shang doesn't know how high it is to the Taichu realm. His soul was originally very powerful, but because he did not have a strong enough body, he was unable to exert the power of his soul. His physical body is still too weak. If the soul explodes with all its power, the body will definitely be crushed by the power of the soul. By chance, Chen Shang used the powerful inner demon of the ancient wood and the power of the Xingwei ancient wood to cultivate the soul. It is a special and powerful body, but it is still not strong enough, because Chen Shang feels that his soul has not yet been fully exert your maximum strength. If my physical body can also grow stronger quickly, then I can be even stronger. Chen Shang clenched his fists tightly, feeling a little excited. Chen Shang knew very well that to deal with a super powerful force like the ancient sacred tree clan, individual strength alone was not enough. Even though he has a powerful soul, he still needs a more powerful physical body to support him in order to truly unleash his full potential. Chen Shang teleported to the trunk of the ancient star tree, where there was an area with extremely high temperature, which was the hub of the energy of the ancient star tree. In this high-temperature environment, Chen Shang took out the world-proud divine furnace and placed it in front of him. The proud divine furnace emits bright light, like a miniature sun, full of mysterious and powerful energy. Chen Shang took a deep breath and condensed the power of his soul, spirit and body into the world-proud divine furnace. He could feel that the golden light emitted by the soul and the power of the physical body blended together to form an unprecedented state of unity. He began to circulate the energy in the proud world divine furnace, integrating it with his soul and body. He felt that the energy fluctuations inside were getting stronger and stronger, as if there was a force surging, trying to break through the restraints and burst out. Chen Shang used his mind and will to guide this power and let it gush out from the proud world divine furnace. Under his guidance, a powerful energy spurted out from the proud divine furnace and enveloped his whole person. He felt that his physical body began to change, and the extremely powerful star power flowed through every cell of his body, strengthening his muscles, bones, and even his internal organs were gradually becoming stronger. Golden light filled his surroundings, and he seemed to have become a golden body, exuding endless pressure. This pressure does not come from the oppression of strength, but from the firmness and determination deep in his heart. Chen Shang felt as if he had merged with the ancient star tree, as if he had become a part of the ancient star tree, sharing its power and energy. His physical body became extremely powerful and full of explosive power. Chen Shang concentrated on practicing in seclusion in this golden ancient wood energy center. I don't know how much time passed, but after Chen Shang woke up, he found that his body had become tougher, full of vitality and strength. He stared at his hands and could feel the powerful star energy flowing through his body, as if every blood vessel was beating with the rhythm of star energy. Suddenly, his sight was directed forward, and he felt a weak but extremely pure power flow from the ancient wood and projected into his body. This is a unique kind of energy, as if it is a gift given to him by Xingwei Gumu, a deeper resonance. Under this resonance, Chen Shang felt that his consciousness began to extend towards the ancient starlight tree, as if he was in a mysterious space, surrounded by boundless starlight. This is the realm of consciousness of Xingwei ancient wood, a realm full of wisdom and power. Welcome, Chen Shang, a distant and majestic voice sounded in Chen Zhang's heart, accompanied by the twinkling stars. Something flashed in Chen Zhang's mind, and he realized that he was communicating with the ancient remnant soul of Xingwei Gumu. He responded respectfully, Xingwei ancient wood, thank you for your gift and help. I am willing to be your guardian and use my power to protect your safety. Xingwei Gumu's consciousness field was filled with a trace of relief and gratitude. Chen Shang, I have sensed your determination and belief. You and I have a special fate, and I am willing to lend you part of my power. And you don't have to protect the ancient Xingwei tree. If you only protect the ancient Xingwei tree with your powerful power from now on, it will be a waste, ha ha ha, just do what you want to do. After just a very brief exchange, the ancient remnant soul of the Xingwei ancient tree seemed to dissipate. Under the guidance of Xingwei ancient wood, Chen Shang began to accept the power originating from the ancient wood. He felt as if his body was transforming, every inch of his skin was trembling, and the star energy formed a new trajectory in his body. When Chen Shang returned to reality from the realm of Xingwei Gumu's consciousness, he had a completely new look. His body was filled with starlight divine power, and the resonance between his physical body, soul, and starlight ancient wood greatly improved his strength. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5372, Eternal Heart Calamity. Chen Shang felt the powerful power he had gained. After his heart surged, an inexplicable sadness surged into his heart. Because the remnant soul of Xingwei ancient tree has completely dissipated. The ancient star tree is still there, but the oldest tree soul that accompanied the birth of the ancient star tree has died. The last remaining soul helped Chen Shang jump over a big hurdle. The old soul of the ancient tree has completely entrusted him with this ancient star tree, which means his recognition and the hope that he can start the true beginning of the era of heaven and earth. Although Taichu heaven and earth was born for many years, it has always been in a state of chaos and desolation. Now I have surpassed the Taichu realm. I never expected that I, who was still at the 30th level of the Taichu realm before, would now soar into the sky and directly surpass the Taichu realm. Chen Shang had previously accepted the inheritance from the old soul of the ancient tree, and also knew that this realm was called the Taming Realm. Ji Yu Mu Laohun also knew little about this realm, because it had just stepped into this realm. Mainly because the five elements divine tree had just entered this realm and then split. Of course, Chen Shang is one of the earlier ones to enter the Taming Realm. In addition to him, there are some people and creatures who are also entering this realm, but they will all fall into a very long sleep. Qingxing is also in the Taming Realm. She needs to go through a long sleep before she can understand her path in this realm. The realm of timing is the illusory enlightenment. If you cannot realize it, you will not be able to practice upwards if you cannot see the Tao. Regarding this realm, each family is in endless confusion, so they can only enter the endless sleep and go through vicissitudes to understand the way of heaven and earth in the beginning. Enlightenment is elusive because the path is not clearly visible. Practitioners need to perceive and understand in order to find the doorway to a higher realm. This realm requires practitioners to transcend the constraints of the material world, enter the depths of the soul, resonate with the energy of the universe, and thus touch the mysteries of the universe. I don't seem to need enlightenment. Chen Shang stepped into the Taming Realm. What was different was that he did not fall into a deep sleep, but directly entered the ethereal realm deep in his soul. His mind was freely displayed here, without being restricted by time and space. He seemed to have become a part of the entire universe. Chen Shang stood in the starry void, closed his eyes, and began to concentrate. He went deep into his heart and felt the inner surge and resonance. In this realm that is completely different from the real world, he can see into his soul and understand his own essence more clearly. His consciousness gradually began to deepen, passing through the barrier of thought and transcending all external distractions. With further exploration, Chen Zhang's mind gradually integrated into the rhythm of the universe, and he felt the power of the universe surging around him. His consciousness became clear and broad, and he seemed to be able to understand the laws of the entire universe. He saw his past, and every journey was presented in the depths of his soul. He examined his choices and experiences and understood their meaning. My way is the way of alchemy. With further exploration, Chen Zhang's consciousness seemed to merge into the Taichu world. He could feel the power of heaven and earth surging around him. In this realm of nothingness, his past was presented in the depths of his soul. Every journey and every choice was revealed, like a picture. A vivid picture. He recalled his persistence and struggle back then and understood its meaning and value. Everything seemed to be answered at this moment. Then a powerful realization came to him. He seemed to have established a wonderful resonance with the universe and understood his own way, the way of alchemy. Alchemy is not just alchemy, it is a way of practice that confronts heaven and earth. Chen Shang understood that by refining the elixir, he could condense the energy between heaven and earth into the elixir and achieve a state of unity between inside and outside. The elixir has become a bridge between him and heaven and earth. By refining the elixir, he can not only strengthen himself, but also perceive the mysteries of heaven and earth and integrate the essence between heaven and earth. His consciousness seemed to have traveled through endless time and space, and he understood the essence of alchemy. He saw countless alchemy refining processes, and understood the laws and secrets involved. The elixir is a carrier, a way to transmit the energy of heaven and earth. When Chen Shang returned to the real world, his eyes shone with wisdom. He understood that he had found a way forward. He would continue to explore and move forward in the alchemy path of Taichu heaven and earth, create unparalleled elixirs, and lead the process of promoting the entire Taichu heaven and earth. Chen Shang returned to the Xingwei temple in an instant. He looked at the huge statue of the goddess Qingxing and sighed in his heart. Qingxing, after so many years, haven't you found your own way? He felt a little worried about Qingxing, because the process of pursuing and understanding his future spiritual practice was very painful and confusing, and his heart would be full of various struggles. This is actually a big catastrophe, and it is also a kind of mental catastrophe. If you cannot pass it, you will be greatly affected by it. Chen Shang guessed that the reason why the five elements sacred tree split back then was most likely because it was confused when it was in the taming realm. This kind of confusion is very common in the taming realm, but it is also a hurdle that every practitioner must go through and overcome. The expectations and wishes for Qingxing in his heart were like a faint ray of light, floating in the temple. He hoped that Qingxing could get out of this confusion as soon as possible and find his own way. Chen Zhang's eyes were full of affection and determination. He stared at the Qingxing goddess statue, as if he was conveying a firm belief with his eyes. He knows well that the path of spiritual practice is not smooth sailing, and confusion and struggle are inevitable, but it is through these difficulties that he can pursue his goals more firmly. He silently prayed for Qingxing in his heart. May you be able to find a glimmer of clarity in the confusion. May you be able to overcome the calamity of your heart and walk out on your own bright path. In the silence of the temple, a breeze seemed to be floating, gently blowing over the sunny star goddess statue. Perhaps, this breeze carries Chen Zhang's sincere wishes, or perhaps, it represents the care and guidance of Taichu heaven and earth for every practitioner. Chen Shang stood in the Xingwei temple, his eyes gradually becoming solemn. A firm determination surged in his heart, hoping to help Qingxing get out of this confusion and find her own path of practice. He knew that Qingxing was a strong and brave woman, but in such a taming state, even the strongest mind would be greatly impacted. This is a mental test, an exploration of the depths of the heart, which requires perseverance and wisdom. He stood there quietly, gently connecting his mind with Qingxing's consciousness, and conveying his inner voice with the voice of his soul. Qingxing, no matter what kind of confusion and struggle you go through, you must believe in your own strength. You are the most resilient person I know, and you will definitely be able to get out of this fog. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5373, Refining the Devil. Qingxing was still sleeping, and she didn't know if she could hear Chen Zhang's heart. She definitely never thought that Chen Shang would have such a big breakthrough here in Xingwei Ancient Wood. At the beginning, she only thought that Chen Shang could solve the crisis here, and she did not know that the crisis hidden here was so big and very complicated. When Chen Shang faced this situation, he not only solved it very well, but also achieved a huge personal breakthrough. The Lord of the Fourth Palace is still practicing. The inheritance power that Chu Lan and Shen Suqing received is very strong and will take some time to digest. Chen Shang has now entered a new realm and has mastered extremely powerful power, but this power is limited. The power of laws in the Taichu world bound his power like a chain. He can use this power, but he needs to break free from the law of the prime that imprisons his power. The power of the laws of Taichu heaven and earth is also to maintain balance. Chen Shang also understands that the law of heaven and earth in Taichu heaven and earth is to stabilize order. Otherwise, if many creatures with too strong cultivation base are not restricted, the Taichu world will soon fall into various chaos. Sister Xiaojing said, "Brother, doesn't it mean that although your power is very strong now, you can't kill those guys from the 8th Academy?" Chen Shang said, "Yes. There are too few powerful people in taming realm in Taichu world, and I am the target of special attention. If I use powerful power, I will be directly absorbed by Taichu world. Brother, if the enemies you face in the future are weaker than you, wouldn't you just stare at them?" Sister Xiaojing felt very sorry for this and sighed, "I really want to see you blow up those guys." Chen Shang smiled and said, "Don't worry, the law of Taichu heaven and earth is too easy to bypass. As long as I don't use the Taichu divine power, the Taichu divine power we cultivated in Taichu heaven and earth, although hidden in our bodies, is closely connected with Taichu heaven and earth. And the body is different, the power of the body is completely under our control. In other words, the powerful strength of the physical body will not be restricted by the beginning of heaven and earth." Sister Xiaojing said in surprise, "Doesn't it mean that the direction of our future cultivation should focus on the physical body?" Chen Shang said, "The power of the physical body and the soul are not limited by the Taichu heaven and earth. But no matter how much emphasis is placed on cultivating the body and the physical body, the combined power of the two can only be on par with the divine power of the Taichu." Sister Xiaojing sighed, "I thought that the power of the body and soul could far exceed the divine power of Taichu." Chen Shang shook his head and said, "Impossible, the divine power of the absolute beginning is a kind of power of law. It has huge potential. If you fight against an enemy with the same level of cultivation and the divine power of the absolute beginning is weak, you will not be able to defeat them. So you cannot give up cultivating the divine power of the absolute beginning." Quote. Sister Xiaojing asked, "Brother, if you don't count the artifacts such as the Six Paths Divine Mirror, what percentage of your overall strength does Taichu's divine power account for?" Chen Shang closed his eyes, felt all aspects of power in his body, and replied, about 20%. My body and soul each account for 20%, and the Taichu divine power accounts for 60% of the total. Even if I don't use the Taichu divine power, I can still exert it. With 40% of my strength, it's more than enough to defeat those guys from the 8th Academy. Sister Xiaojing smiled and said, it seems that brother can still beat them to death. Chen Shang also laughed and said, I can defeat them with 20% of my strength, not to mention I have your help. The divine mirror of 6 paths is also a very powerful force for Chen Shang, and it has been improving itself. Its strength is unfathomable. It also stores many ancient wooden star cores and the power of various stars. If it is operated at full strength, its power will be very terrifying. Chen Shang stood under the statue of the Qingxing goddess and talked with Sister Xiaojing about his breakthrough experience. This also made Sister Xiaojing very envious and yearning for her. At the same time, she also began to think about what would happen if she stepped into the taming realm and realized the Tao. Will you fall into confusion during this stage and be unable to extricate yourself? Sister Xiaojing knows very well that Chen Shang has always been determined to practice alchemy. Over the years, Chen Shang has practiced various things, but Dao Dan has always been Chen Zhang's route and the path that Chen Shang relies on for survival. He has never given up or deviated from it. Sister Xiaojing is not a human being. She was created by Chen Shang. Thinking of the way she wants to practice, she is beginning to feel a little confused. The first thing she is confused about is that she longs to become a human being, but she is confused because she is a weapon soul and cannot. Breaking away from the divine mirror of 6 paths. Jing girl, don't think so much. No matter what, with me by your side, if you face that kind of situation, I can pull you out, believe me. Chen Shang said with a confident smile. Then I'll be relieved. To be honest, I was a little anxious just now. Sister Xiaojing also laughed coquettishly. At this time, Shen Suqing woke up. Her eyes were firm, full of confidence, and she had a strong momentum all over her body. It's hard to describe that kind of momentum, strong yet arrogant. When she looked at Chen Shang, there was also a kind of tenderness. Dad, I am strong now. Shen Suqing smiled softly and stepped over from a distance instantly. Her footwork was indeed exquisite and light. If Chen Shang hadn't also broken through, he wouldn't have noticed her movement at all. Very good, the 8th courtyard is in a mess outside now. They have been destroying the ancient Xingwei trees. Anyway, they are idle now. Let's go out and repair them. Chen Shang smiled and nodded. I'll just go. It should be very chaotic and dangerous outside right now. Shen Suqing did not notice Chen Zhang's current strength, and in her eyes, her father was an alchemist, and no matter how strong he was, he could not compare to someone like her who trained specifically for fighting. Let's go together. I believe my precious daughter will protect me. Chen Shang said with a smile, let's go. Okay, I'll leave a message for Sister Chulan. Shen Suqing took out a piece of jade, recorded the voice she left and placed it next to her, then pulled Chen Shang and set off excitedly. Shen Suqing really hopes to show her cultivation achievements in front of her father. She also hopes to go out with her father to kill enemies. This is what she has been looking forward to for a long time. Chen Shang took Shen Suqing and teleported directly out to the sky above a very large city. The city is built on one of the 8 ancient giant tree roots, and is also the location of one of the 8 courtyards. It's the most noisy here. Chen Shang said. Are all these guys possessed? Shen Suqing frowned. She was being pulled by Chen Shang and suspended in the air. Looking at the situation below, she felt her scalp numb. In this originally grand and huge city, black evil spirits were rolling around. Many people's skin was exuding black evil spirits, their eyes were red, and they were killing and eating each other. Someone is refining demons. Chen Shang took a breath of air and said, we must interrupt their progress as soon as possible. Do you like this sight? Donate here. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5374, Ancient Troll. Chen Shang and Shen Suqing shook hands tightly and flew towards the center of the city. They witnessed the scene, and couldn't help but feel a surge of anger in their hearts. This scene of being controlled by evil forces was really unbearable to witness. Chen Shang took a deep breath, and with a thought, the star power in his body circulated and turned into a ray of light that enveloped them, forming a light golden protective shield to resist the evil atmosphere around them. Let's go, let's find the guy who is refining the demon and interrupt his plan. Chen Shang said in a deep voice, and flew to the core of the city with Shen Suqing. As they approached, more and more attention was attracted, and some controlled people in the city began to turn their heads and rush toward the two, full of madness and ferocity. A powerful star power surged out and turned into rays of light, which bounced away the incoming controlled person. At the same time, Shen Suqing also jumped up and used her body skills to easily avoid those attacks. Finally, they came to the central square of the city, and saw a man in black robe standing there, holding a staff, and exuding a strong evil aura. He was casting evil spells on a group of people trapped in a magic circle. "Stop!" Chen Shang shouted, his voice resounding like thunder through the square, attracting everyone's attention. The man in black robe turned to look at Chen Shang and laughed mockingly, "Ha ha, another delicious meal delivered to your door. Are you the culprit behind the demon refining?" Chen Zhang's eyes flashed with cold light, and he met the black-robed man's gaze without fear. "Exactly, I want to absorb everyone's life force and use it for me," the man in black robe said grimly. Chen Zhang's gaze was extremely firm, and he took a step without hesitation. The star power in his body burst out, forming a dazzling light, like a meteor rushing towards the man in black robe. The man in black robe roared angrily and neutralized Chen Zhang's attack. He comes from the evil dark ancient clan and is extremely powerful. He was not afraid of these humans at first, but just now he saw that Chen Zhang's strength was not weak, so he was a little worried. "Dad, leave this guy to me." As soon as Shen Suqing finished speaking, she immediately took action. She used a long sword and flew directly over to attack at close range. Moreover, the swordsmanship she used at this time was also extremely skillful. The light of her sword shimmers like stars, and the sword skills she performs flow like the trajectory of stars. Every move contains the divine power of stars. This set of sword skills is also the Starfall sword technique that Qingxing has just passed down to her. During the battle, Shen Suqing was very skilled in the Starfall sword technique. The sword moves were unpredictable and the stars were flying, as if she herself had turned into a twinkling star. Each sword was like a falling meteorite, carrying destructive power and slashing towards the vital points of the man in black robe. The man in black robe roared and fought back, and the evil power surging throughout his body formed a black shield, trying to resist Shen Suqing's offensive. However, the sword light of the Starfall sword art penetrated the evil shield and penetrated the body of the man in black robe. The man in black robe screamed, black blood spattered out, his body began to collapse rapidly, and the evil aura was weakened by the star power. He struggled to escape, but the power of the Starfall sword technique had firmly locked his life force. In the end, the black-robed man's body completely disintegrated and turned into a plume of black smoke that dissipated in the air, leaving behind a quiet night sky. Shen Suqing put away her sword and let out a breath. Her forehead was covered with sweat, but her face was glowing with victory. The Starfall sword technique is indeed extraordinary. There is something in Anyang's inheritance. She admired in a low voice. The power of this sword technique was far beyond her imagination, and she gradually understood its secrets during the battle. Chen Shang also saw the changes in Shen Suqing after receiving Qingxing's inheritance. She had indeed become stronger, and felt much relieved. The demon refiner was very powerful, but Shen Suqing killed it with ease, which showed that she had not exerted her full power just now. "Su Qing, don't take it lightly. There are still many powerful demon refiners in the city," Chen Shang said in a deep voice. "This city has been completely occupied, and there are no normal people left." Just as he finished speaking, a huge building in the city suddenly collapsed, and a huge black humanoid monster appeared. This humanoid monster is like countless individuals piled together and glued together. There are countless hands and feet dancing around on its body, and there are countless heads and eyes on this giant monster, which makes people feel numb. This is a big guy made by a demon refiner, so be careful. Chen Shang thought of the eight-clawed demon from before, which was similar. He suspected that the eight-clawed demon might have been created by the evil dark ancient clan. "Master of the Xingwei ancient tree, this is the meeting gift given to you by our evil dark ancient clan. It is the dark ancient troll we made with millions of people. It is a very ancient pet of our evil dark ancient clan. How can I? It's easy to create one, so I'll give it to you, ha ha ha." The voice came from nowhere. "Who are you?" Chen Shang asked in a deep voice. "I am one of the 4 great demon lords of the evil dark ancient clan, the Minjiang demon lord. Have fun playing with the little pet I gave you, ha ha ha." After the laughter of the Minjiang demon lord disappeared, the dark ancient troll also let out a roar, and its body expanded rapidly. It suddenly changed a lot, becoming bigger and stronger than before. The dark ancient troll is a giant humanoid monster formed by the fusion of millions of people. It can be described as a combination of terror and inconceivability. Its body was as tall as a mountain peak, and its black skin seemed to swallow up all light, making the surrounding scenery dim in its presence. Its appearance is distorted and mutated, as if it were pieced together from countless human fragments, and every part seems to be an extension of an evil spirit. Countless tentacle-like limbs extend from its head, and each tentacle is covered with knuckles and nails, like sharp blades. These tentacles are constantly twisting, like the tentacles of a demon, ready to tear anything that dares to come close to pieces at any time. And its head is even more unpredictable. Some places are covered with eyes, while others are sunken, like a hollow swallowed by darkness. In the center of its chest, there is a huge mouth. When it opens, it reveals countless sharp teeth, which seem to be able to bite everything in one bite. The mouth kept opening and closing, emitting blood-curdling roars and roars, like a giant beast in ***** roaring. The dark ancient troll exudes a strong evil aura that makes people feel suffocated and frightened. Its evil power seems to come from hell, containing the power to destroy everything. Be careful, Chen Shang felt something was wrong and shouted. The surroundings suddenly became extremely dark. This dark ancient troll was actually able to release a super powerful space field, sealing Chen Shang and Shen Suqing in it. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5375, Crazy Sword Qinglong. Realizing that the enemy was very powerful, Chen Shang immediately took Shen Suqing's hand and held her firmly by his side, preventing her from fighting privately. These guys from the evil dark ancient clan keep making trouble again and again. Maybe they think there is always a glimmer of hope to capture the ancient star tree. Chen Zhang's face was cold, and he gradually calmed down. That's right. They thought that I, the master of the main hall, was too weak to defend the ancient star tree, so they took action one after another. Shen Suqing said, Dad, what do you mean, are different people responsible for leading these operations? This time, what kind of demon king was sent as a last resort? Chen Shang nodded and said, Yes, they look down on me so much. They are really bullying, think they can trap me by creating this thing. I must give up their idea of attacking again. Shen Suqing looked at the dark ancient troll with fear in her heart, because after she felt the terrifying evil aura, she was sure that she could not defeat it. She also believed that even if Chen Shang used the power of the starry ancient tree, it would be difficult to suppress it. Dad, I can't beat that guy. Shen Suqing didn't show off. What are we going to do next? Leave it to me, I can destroy him. After Chen Shang stepped into the taming realm, his strength became several times stronger than before. Although there are certain restrictions in the taming realm, the powerful Taichu divine power cannot be used on weak creatures. But for the dark ancient troll in front of him, Chen Shang could use the powerful Taichu divine power. The azure dragon demon slaying knife in Chen Zhang's hand was already shining with a strong cyan light. He did not use the soul or even the most powerful Taichu divine power. Chen Shang held the azure dragon demon slaying knife tightly, feeling the dragon's power coming from the blade, and a murderous intention rose in his heart. He took a deep breath, focused his mind on the blade, and began to activate the divine power of Taichu. A powerful Taichu divine power emerged from his body and quickly spread to the Qinglong demon slaying knife. The pattern on the blade began to glow with a dazzling blue light, like stars shining in the starry sky. Chen Zhang's gaze became profound, and he felt that the connection between himself and the ancient star tree was even closer. The flow of Taichu's divine power seemed to echo with the star energy of the ancient tree. He suddenly waved the azure dragon demon slaying knife, and the sword's light shot up into the sky, with powerful cyan energy condensing on the blade. The sword light drew a perfect arc in the air, and then suddenly fell down. The blade slashed towards the dark ancient troll with an aura of destruction. At the same time, the Taichu divine power behind Chen Shang suddenly exploded, forming a huge illusion. In the illusion, a huge green dragon began to gradually appear, with overwhelming power. This green dragon has a majestic body, its scales are shining with starlight, its horns are as hard as steel, and its claws are like sharp blades. Its eyes are as deep as a pool, revealing a hint of awe and mystery. Qinglong stared ahead, and the roar of the dragon echoed in the air, shocking people. It opened its huge dragon mouth and released a powerful aura, as if it wanted to swallow all the darkness. Chen Shang and Qinglong's minds were united, and they jointly performed this unique magical skill. The Azure Dragon demon-slaying knife cut through the space, and the sword's light merged with the Azure Dragon's aura, forming an extremely fierce attack. Boom! The attacks of Daoguang and Qinglong instantly hit the dark ancient troll, and a terrifying energy wave exploded in the air, forming an earth-shattering scene. The entire city was enveloped by this wave of energy, and the aftermath of the battle rippled through every corner. The dark ancient troll let out a shrill roar, its body trembled, and black smoke continued to rise from its body. After all, this monster is a monster without intelligence. It has powerful evil power, but it cannot use it flexibly. It can only carry out various resistance and wild attacks in a rigid manner. Boom! The huge body of the dark ancient troll exploded, and the huge and ferocious mouth on its chest roared, and the evil spirits all over its body set off waves of stinky wind. It rushed towards Chen Shang crazily, and the violent evil spirit spewed out from its huge mouth turned into violent black lightning and struck where Chen Shang and Shen Suqing were. When Shen Suqing saw how powerful her father was, she was so shocked that she couldn't speak. Although the attack of the dark ancient troll in front of her was extremely terrifying, Shen Suqing felt extremely relieved when she saw her father beside her. Chen Shang frowned slightly and reacted quickly. The Azure Dragon demon-slaying knife in his hand once again lit up with a dazzling cyan light. He waved the knife without hesitation, releasing a surge of Taichu divine power and transforming into a huge green dragon. Full of majesty and power, the green dragon rose into the air, baring its teeth and claws, and collided with the evil lightning of the dark ancient troll. For a moment, the collision between evil spirits and divine power made a deafening roar, and the space seemed to be shaking. In that terrifying energy fluctuation, the buildings in the city trembled, and some unstable structures began to collapse, with dust and gravel flying everywhere. The demons in the city, who were already in chaos, were even more shocked by this energy wave and were forced to flee in all directions, unable to resist at all. The roar of the dark ancient troll echoed in the air. It tried to break away from the powerful attack, but the power of the sword light and the green dragon surged like a torrent, suppressing it in place. Black smoke swirled around it, forming an invisible barrier in an attempt to ward off the attack. However, the energy of Daoguang and Qinglong had eroded into its body, making its resistance weak. Buzz buzz. A harsh buzzing sound sounded, and the black smoke on the dark ancient troll's body suddenly twisted violently, as if it was being suppressed by a powerful force. The smoke gradually dissipated, revealing the figure of the dark ancient troll. The green dragon transformed by the Azure Dragon demon-slaying knife is as ferocious as a mythical beast. The roar of the dragon resounds throughout the world, twisting its body and firmly suppressing the evil power of the dark ancient troll. The black smoke was gradually dispersed by the powerful Qinglong divine power, and the dark ancient troll's body began to tremble, obviously being severely suppressed. At this moment, its body has been weakened by the attacks of the sword light and the green dragon, and its form is no longer so huge. The black skin began to crack, like a collapsed statue. A flash of determination flashed in Chen Zhang's eyes, and he swung the Azure Dragon demon-slaying sword again. The blade was like lightning, cutting through the void, and slashing towards the dark ancient troll's vitals with an aura of destruction. Boom! With a loud noise, the dark ancient troll's body finally collapsed completely and turned into pieces of black energy fragments, scattered in the air. Its shrill roar suddenly stopped and was replaced by dead silence. The whole city fell into silence again, and a heavy atmosphere filled the air. Chen Shang withdrew the Azure Dragon demon-slaying knife and felt the remaining Taichu divine power in his body. He breathed slightly and paid attention to the surrounding situation, still maintaining vigilance. The domain of the dark ancient troll disappeared, and the city was completely purified by Chen Shang. Minjiang Demon Lord, are you still there? Your pet is too weak and I can't have a lot of fun, so you should come and play with me. Chen Zhang's voice echoed under the ancient Xingwei tree. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5376, Fight Against the Devil. The remains of the dark ancient troll turned into black dust, dissipating in the air like night blown by the wind. The entire city gradually returned to tranquility, but Chen Shang and Shen Suqing's hearts were still filled with the aftermath of the battle. Suddenly, a cold breath filled the air, and along with a sinister laughter, a black shadow rose from the void and hung in midair. Ha ha ha, Chen Shang, you really lived up to my expectations, you were able to defeat my favorite dark ancient troll. The black shadow slowly appeared, revealing a tall man with a cold and arrogant look in his eyes. This man's face was covered with deep lines, like the marks of time, and his skin was like black steel, revealing a powerful evil aura. He was wearing a black robe, and his long black hair hung down to his waist. He looked like a demon who had walked out of hell. Are you the Minjiang demon lord? Chen Shang stared at the man closely, his eyes showing vigilance. Demon Lord Minjiang smiled, with an evil tone in his smile. Exactly, although you destroyed my dark ancient troll, I can also take this opportunity to fight you personally. Shen Suqing also looked at Minjiang demon lord warily. She could feel the powerful energy fluctuations on his body, which should not be underestimated. Dad, how is his strength? Shen Suqing asked in a low voice. This Minjiang demon lord is a demon lord from the evil and dark ancient clan. His strength is definitely not weak, and he is also very good at refining demons. The idiots in the 8th Academy all voluntarily boarded his pirate ship in pursuit of powerful power. Chen Shang explained softly. Chen Shang, you are indeed capable of defeating my dark ancient troll, but this is not enough for me to take seriously. Demon Lord Minjiang sneered, his voice echoing in the air. Chen Shang looked at him calmly, his heart rising with vigilance. Let me see what you are capable of. The Minjiang demon lord's voice fell, and he moved and disappeared in an instant. Chen Zhang's mind stirred and he looked around vigilantly, but he could not detect the presence of the demon lord of Ming and Shadow. The opponent is good at phantoms and shadows, and may have been preparing a surprise attack in the dark. At this moment, a chill hit him, Chen Zhang's body tensed up, and he felt an evil force approaching quickly from behind. Here we come, his heart trembled, and he dodged to the side. However, in an instant, he felt a cold palm pass over his body, and a powerful force came, slamming his shoulders away, and his whole body flew backwards like a meteor. Ha ha ha, you really have some skills. The Minjiang demon lord's laughter sounded again, and he suddenly appeared from the void and stood in front of Chen Shang. Chen Shang steadied his body and looked up at demon lord Minjiang, a trace of determination flashed in his eyes. Dad, Shen Suqing exclaimed and wanted to rush forward to help Chen Shang, but was stopped by Chen Shang. Don't get close, his ability is very special. Chen Shang whispered. Demon Lord Minjiang smiled coldly and stared at Chen Shang with a sinister look. You really have some skills, you can actually dodge my blow. Minjiang demon lord, the battle between us has just begun. Chen Zhang's voice was firm and calm. He held the Azure Dragon demon slaying knife tightly and prepared to fight the Minjiang demon lord with all his strength. The Minjiang demon lord smiled slightly, and his figure flashed in the air before appearing in front of Chen Shang again. A dark dagger suddenly appeared in his hand, shining with a cold light, like a star in the dark night. The dagger stabbed at Chen Shang like lightning, the speed was unpredictable. Chen Shang immediately swung the Azure Dragon demon slaying knife, and the sword slashed out fiercely like a dragon, colliding violently with the Minjiang demon lord's dagger. Crack! There was a crisp sound in the air and sparks flew everywhere. Chen Shang felt the powerful energy contained in Minjiang demon lord's dagger. His eyes focused and he tried his best to resist the opponent's attack. Shen Suqing watched the fierce battle nervously, feeling anxious in her heart. Although she didn't want to be tied to one side, she also knew that facing such a powerful opponent, taking action rashly might lead to a more dangerous situation. The Minjiang demon lord's offensive was extremely fierce, and every move he made contained evil energy, which made Chen Shang feel a huge pressure. He could only try to stay calm, constantly adjust his posture, and try his best to avoid being injured by the Minjiang demon lord's dagger. Chen Shang, do you think you can stop me with your strength? You're too naive, Demon Lord Minjiang sneered, with ridicule in his voice. Now that I have taken action, I will definitely take down the Xingwei ancient tree. Chen Shang did not respond. The Taichu divine power in his body was flowing continuously and condensed on the Qinglong demon slaying knife. The force of the knife was sharp and swift. He began to gradually adapt to the attack methods of the Demon Lord of Ming and Shadow, and worked hard to find loopholes. Suddenly, Chen Shang seized an opportunity, quickly adjusted his posture, and used the arc swing of the Azure Dragon demon slaying knife to push back the dagger blade of Mingying demon. He then instantly charged up his strength and struck a heavy blow at Mingying demon Jun's chest. The Minjiang demon lord's eyes narrowed, and he did not show any weakness, and quickly defended himself with a dagger. But Chen Zhang's blow was so powerful that Minjiang demon lord's body was shaken back a few steps, with a look of surprise on his face. Sure enough, he still has some skills. Minjiang demon lord commented indifferently, and then his figure disappeared in the air again. Chen Shang looked around vigilantly, looking for traces of the demon lord of Ming and Shadow. Suddenly, he felt a cold breath coming from behind. He immediately turned around and the Azure Dragon demon-slaying sword swept out, defeating a shadow. Yes, it's not easy for you to detect my attack. The voice of Minjiang Demon Lord sounded beside Chen Shang, and his figure condensed and appeared again. Chen Shang looked at him calmly, grasping a chance in his heart. He took a deep breath, mobilized the Taichu divine power in his body to its limit, and prepared to face the next attack from the Demon Lord of Ming and Shadow. Chen Shang, this time I want you to see my true strength. Demon Lord Mingying's eyes flashed with a sinister light, and a long black sword suddenly appeared in his hand, and the sword body exuded a strange ghostly sound. Light. The sword light flickered, and the figure of the Mingying Demon Lord turned into a black stream of light, approaching quickly like a ghost. Chen Zhang's eyes narrowed, and he faced the attack of Mingying Demon Lord without hesitation. The Taichu divine power in his body surged like a torrent, and the Azure Dragon demon-slaying sword turned into a startling rainbow, which clashed with Minjiang Demon Lord's long black sword. The swords collided fiercely. The swords intertwined, and violent energy fluctuations erupted in the space. Boom boom boom. A series of violent explosions resounded throughout the world, and energy fluctuations set off huge waves. The battle between Chen Shang and Minjiang Demon Lord was extremely fierce. Every collision between them released terrifying power, tearing apart the surrounding space. Chen Shang, you are still too young. Demon Lord Minjiang sneered, his offensive became more and more fierce, and seemed to completely defeat Chen Shang. Shen Suqing was stunned as she watched from a distance, because Chen Zhang's strength was very terrifying. If it were her in this kind of battle, she would probably be killed if she couldn't catch 10 moves. Shen Suqing was pleasantly surprised that her father's real strength was so strong, but now she was more worried because the Minjiang Demon Lord was too strong. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5377, Palace Lord Tianwei. Chen Shang seemed to be having a hard time resisting. Shen Suqing only hated that she was not strong enough to help her father. Now she could only grit her teeth and watch the battle nervously. Chen Shang fought fiercely with the Minjiang Demon Lord for a long time, and he also knew that the Minjiang Demon Lord in front of him was not his clone, but the original one who had come in person. Minjiang Demon Lord came to the Xingwei Ancient Wood space alone. It can be said that he took a lot of risks. At the same time, it can also be seen that he is very confident in his own strength. If you don't have enough strength, go to the space where a sacred tree is alone, and also have evil intentions, it will be very dangerous if you are counterattacked by the power of the sacred tree. Demon Lord Minjiang came on his own and did not come with other powerful demon lords. This also shows that there are some problems within the evil Dark Ancient clan. Competing for the Starry Ancient Tree is a very important matter, and we should go all out. Now only the Demon Lord Minjiang comes. The other demon lords are either at odds with each other, or they are fighting with powerful enemies and cannot escape, or they are facing some kind of threat. We need to sit on their turf. There is also fierce resistance within the other two sacred trees, right? So the demon lord needs to be in charge, right? Chen Shang sneered while fighting the Minjiang demon lord. You have 4 demon lords, but you are the only one. It's not enough to come to Xingwei Ancient Wood alone. Enough is enough. In addition, don't make blind guesses about our evil Dark Ancient clan. We have 4 demon kings, 2 demon kings, and 1 demon emperor. To deal with an ancient tree that has been invaded by inner demons for a long time, send me it's more than enough. Minjiang Demon Lord's voice was very arrogant, and he sneered, Chen Shang, are you even more scared? In the evil and ancient clan, both the demon king and the demon emperor are much stronger than me. You should be able to face me now. Estimate how terrifying the Demon King and Demon Emperor are. Your strength is actually very average. Chen Shang wrote lightly, you seem to have the upper hand now, mainly because I have not exerted my full strength. Ha ha ha, many guys who died in my hands have said this. Minjiang Demon Lord laughed and said, if you were strong enough, you would have crushed me with your powerful force. How can you retain your strength? Why? Because I'm worried that there will be other stronger guys coming to attack me. Chen Shang was indeed worried about this, so he was always vigilant. Just now, he was secretly controlling the Xingwei Ancient Tree, exploring the entire space, and strengthening the space. Make sure that no stronger evil Dark Ancient clan is nearby, and make sure that no evil Dark Ancient clan can sneak in. Really, I promise you, no one will attack you. Because I alone can take down the Starry Ancient Wood. Demon Lord Minjiang laughed wildly, hurry up and let me see how powerful you are. I want to know why Queen Qingxing values you so much. Chen Shang was secretly shocked that the Minjiang demon lord actually knew the existence of Qingxing. Don't regret it. Chen Shang smiled slightly and began to increase Taichu's divine power. It didn't take long for Minjiang demon lord to feel that Chen Zhang's power had indeed improved. The battle between Chen Shang and Minjiang demon lord was in full swing, and the air was filled with sparks of fighting spirit. Every collision between them set off huge energy fluctuations that shook the entire city. The Minjiang demon lord's offensive became more and more fierce. His long black sword turned into black lightning, and the blade kept piercing like a ghost, trying to hit Chen Zhang's vitals. Chen Shang did not show weakness. His sword skills became more and more proficient, and every swing had the ultimate pursuit of strength and angle. Time seemed to have frozen in this fierce battle. Shen Suqing, who was watching the battle, held her breath and did not dare to relax at all. This duel has exceeded her imagination. The terrifying aspect of the Demon King of Shadow is becoming more and more apparent, while Chen Shang has shown to be more powerful than before. Suddenly, the attacks of the Minjiang demon lord became more violent, and his sword skills were as fast as lightning and unpredictable. A sharp sword energy stabbed Chen Zhang's throat, extremely fierce. But at that moment, Chen Zhang's eyes became profound, and the Taichu divine power in his body reached its peak. The Azure Dragon demon slaying knife bloomed with dazzling light in his hand, and a huge phantom of the Azure Dragon appeared on the blade. This green dragon phantom is astonishingly powerful, its body is like a mountain, its claws are like thunder, and its roar shakes the world. It opened its huge mouth and released a majestic primordial divine power, which converged into a green dragon thunder and struck the Minjiang demon lord. The attack of Minjiang demon lord was instantly swallowed up by the green dragon's roar. He let out a shocking scream, and his body was blown away like a kite with broken strings. He crashed through the wall of a building in the distance, sending smoke and dust everywhere. Chen Shang used the power of the soul just now. At this moment, his whole body was glowing with golden light, and his golden soul was released and attached to the Qinglong demon slaying sword. The green azure dragon demon slaying knife was also flashing with golden light at this moment. As soon as Minjiang demon lord got up, he felt Chen Zhang's powerful power. Chen Shang not only used the power of the soul, but also condensed the star power of the ancient star tree at this moment, bursting out with a majestic momentum that almost made the Minjiang demon king kneel down. The Minjiang demon lord stood up with difficulty. His body had been seriously injured, but his eyes were full of anger and unwillingness. He knew he was losing the battle, the first time he had suffered such a disastrous defeat in many years. Chen Shang stared majestically at the Minjiang demon lord, with the golden soul floating beside him, like a who dominated everything. The star power of the ancient star tree is still surging, supporting his body and making him look extremely majestic. It was very difficult for Minjiang demon lord to stand still. Blood was dripping from the corner of his mouth, and his expression became more and more ferocious. Chen Zhang's power exceeded his expectations, making him feel threatened like never before. Chen Zhang's figure stood motionless like a golden asterisk of war. The soul spirit and starlight divine power gathered in his body, forming a powerful atmosphere that could not be ignored. He held the Azure Dragon demon slaying knife in his hand, and the phantom of the Azure Dragon kept roaring, as if it was about to tear the entire world apart. Demon Lord Minjiang, you are nothing more than this. Chen Zhang's voice was full of pressure and spread like thunder throughout the city. Demon Lord Minjiang gritted his teeth and stared at Chen Shang, a rage of rage surged in his heart. He was originally confident and thought he could win easily, but now he was forced into a desperate situation. You're lucky this time, the Minjiang demon lord said angrily. He knew that if he continued to fight, he would be dead, so he turned into a black light and shadow and evacuated the battlefield at an extremely fast speed. Chen Shang let out a long breath, then took out the Star Soul Stone and confirmed that the Minjiang Demon Lord had just broken through the space and left. He couldn't kill Minjiang Demon Lord, because Minjiang Demon Lord didn't try his best. The main reason why he escaped was because he didn't want to risk his life. Demon Lord Minjiang should be the strongest enemy Chen Shang has encountered so far. If the Demon King and Demon Emperor he mentioned comes, then he will have to pay a heavy price to repel him. The Demon King and Demon Emperor are not coming, are they? Chen Shang was a little worried. After the surrounding area calmed down, Shen Suqing also came to Chen Zhang's side. Dad, are you okay? You feel quite tired, Chen Shang asked softly. Fortunately, Chen Shang smiled at her, with the help of the power of the Xingwei ancient wood, I will be able to recover soon. World-defying Dan God Chapter 5378, Clean Up the Traitors. After the Minjiang Demon Lord left, the unrest under the Xingwei ancient tree had lost support, but the group of people in the 8th courtyard were still causing trouble. What Chen Shang has to do next is to go with Shen Suqing to eradicate the group of people in the 8th courtyard who have been corrupted by evil. Chen Shang came to the city where Fuyuan was located. The city was in chaos at the moment. After being corrupted by the evil darkness, many people had turned into crazy demons, killing and devouring each other everywhere. Yuan is here. Chen Shang had just received Yuan's aura, which was accompanied by strong winds. It was obvious that Yuan was fighting, and she was facing many powerful people alone. Yuan had been in seclusion in the Xingwei temple before, but she didn't expect to come out now. Perhaps it was also because her Star Soul Stone had been refined into the Star Glory Luotian umbrella by Chen Shang early on, so she was the first to come out. Chen Shang could tell from his aura that Yuan's current strength was greatly improved compared to before, but the enemies she faced were not weak, and there were several of them, so she seemed to be struggling very hard at the moment. Chen Shang and Shen Suqing rushed over immediately, and sure enough they saw Yuan fighting with 5 powerful men from Fuyuan. Yuan is wearing a silver-white fairy robe, with long hair flowing like a waterfall, which complements her figure perfectly. Her dazzling star eyes exude deep wisdom and tenacity, and her beauty seems to be frozen in the midst of battle, making people unable to help but fall in love with her. The 5 strong men of Fuyuan who were eroded by the evil darkness had strange shapes, distorted faces, strange purple-black skin, and eyes full of madness and ferocity. They were controlled by the dark power and became more powerful, but also lost their minds. The graceful figure came gracefully, like a leisurely white cloud, and the long sword in her hand flickered like starlight. Her swordsmanship is graceful and agile, and each sword carries the power of the stars, which is extremely exquisite. The moment she fought against the 5 powerful men of Fuyuan, Yuan showed off her superb fighting skills. Her body is extremely flexible, she can easily avoid the opponent's attack, and then quickly counterattack. Each of her swords were extremely precise, aiming at Xie Yin's part, causing the strong men of Fuyuan to feel tremendous pain. This woman is really difficult to deal with. A strong man from Fuyuan roared and tried to pounce on Yuan, but she cleverly avoided it. Another Fuyuan strongman tried to release evil dark spells to attack, but was blocked by Yuan's sword light. Yuan's swordsmanship is not only an attack, but also a kind of defense. She uses the power of starlight to block Xie Yan's attack. Yuan's eyes were full of fierceness, and she knew that there was no room for failure in this battle. She is not only protecting herself, but also protecting the ancient Xingwei tree. As the battle progressed, Yuan gradually got rid of the siege of the Fuyuan strongmen who were corrupted by the evil darkness. Her sword skills became more and more fierce, and the starry sword light was like lightning, penetrating the chest of a Fuyuan strongman, fight it off. The remaining powerful men of Fuyuan retreated in horror. They finally understood that Yuan was not an opponent they could take lightly. But at this moment, a black atmosphere filled the air and emerged from around Yuan. This was an increase in the power of evil. The bodies of the 5 Fuyuan strongmen began to become more twisted, and their strength increased dramatically. They laughed wildly and pounced on Yuan again. There was no fear on Yuan's face, and her eyes were even deeper. She knew that this was a life and death battle. She raised her sword, preparing to face this wave of more violent attacks. Her brows flashed with perseverance, and the long sword danced in her hand. The light of the sword shone like a star, illuminating the battlefield where the black energy was churning. Facing the 5 powerful men of Fuyuan who were corrupted by the evil darkness, she did not flinch at all, but became more calm and confident. Her footwork is unpredictable, sometimes as light as a swallow, sometimes as steady as a mountain. She constantly changes positions and angles during the battle, avoiding the opponent's attacks in the most exquisite way. At the same time, she uses the power of the stars to draw beautiful arcs in the air, releasing flashes of sword energy. The 5 Fuyuan strongmen were confused by Yuan's tactics. Their attacks sometimes hit the void, and sometimes were penetrated by the sword energy. Yuan's sword skills became faster and more powerful. She used the assistance of the star power, and each sword brought destructive power, as if the stars were falling. The sword energy is like a dragon, the sword light is like electricity, the stars are twinkling, and the graceful swordsmanship is poetic and picturesque, but it also carries an unspeakable killing intent. Sometimes she flies in the sky, sometimes she shuttles on the ground, turning the entire battlefield into her stage. The 5 powerful men of Fuyuan were forced to try their best, but they were still unable to force Yuan into a desperate situation. Her figure sometimes appears behind the enemy, and sometimes turns into a shadow, making it elusive. Yuan's swordsmanship is extremely skillful, and each sword stabs at the opponent's vitals, making Xie Yin's power unstoppable. The atmosphere of the battle became more and more tense, with sword shadows intertwining and stars twinkling. Her graceful beauty is integrated into every swing of her sword on the battlefield. Her dancing figure exudes nobility and majesty, which makes people feel moved. Under the blessing of the starlight of the Xingwei Temple, Yuan's fighting power reached its peak. She is not only a beautiful fairy, but also an indestructible god of war. Her swordsmanship is extremely sharp, and every blow releases the power of the stars. She has suppressed the 5 Fuyuan powerhouses, but it seems that she has not yet fully exerted her full strength. Sister Yuan is already so powerful without using the Xingwei Luotian umbrella. Those 5 guys from Fuyuan have obviously absorbed very powerful evil and dark power. If it were Sister Yuan before, she should not be able to defeat them. Shen Suqing exclaimed in a low voice, it seems that everyone has become stronger. Elder Gongsun of Fuyuan is not here. Chen Shang frowned and said, that guy is very sinister. As soon as Chen Shang finished speaking, he felt 2 auras coming from the distance. It's Xuanyuan Huang and Elder Gongsun. Leave Xuanyuan Huang to me. Without saying a word, Shen Suqing suddenly appeared with swords in her hands and rushed directly towards Xuanyuan Huang. Xuanyuan Huang robbed her of the position of city lord, she had always remembered it, and today it was finally time to settle the accounts. Xuanyuan Huang came on a flying black strange bird. After being intercepted by Shen Suqing, he looked very surprised and started fighting soon. Although Chen Shang was relieved about Shen Suqing, he still paid close attention to Shen Suqing's side to prevent Xuanyuan Huang from using dirty tricks. Elder Gongsun also rode a huge strange bird. He still looked so kind and said with a smile, Master of the East Palace, why are the other 3 palace masters not here? It is a pity that I can't catch you all in one go. Gongsun Kingming, Xingwei Gumu has never treated you badly, why did you betray him? Yuan asked coldly. You haven't treated me badly, but I want more. I won't give you Xingwei ancient wood, so I will listen to whoever gives it to me. Gongsun Kingming laughed and said, have you seen, I am very happy now strong, already stronger than you palace masters, this is the reason why I betrayed, they gave me such great benefits, if I didn't betray, I would be sorry for my parents. World Defying Dan God Chapter 5379, Evil Dark Ancient Poison. Gongsun Kingming's words were full of sarcasm and contempt, and his eyes seemed to be mocking everyone's incompetence and weakness. However, Yuan and Shen Shang are both sharp-minded people, and they know that there must be other motives behind Elder Gongsun. Yuan responded calmly, Gongsun Kingming, the power you rely on now comes from evil. Are you really willing to become their accomplice? Gongsun Kingming chuckled with a disdainful expression, what's the difference between evil darkness and good darkness? As long as I become stronger, I can get more things. This is the most important thing. You guys, these people who kidnap themselves morally, are too naive. At this moment, the battle between Xuanyuan Huang and Shen Suqing became more intense, and their speed and strength reached their peak. Shen Suqing's swordsmanship was like a shining light, each sword carrying the divine power of starlight, intertwined with Xuanyuan Huang's insidious moves. There was a sneer on Xuanyuan Huang's lips. His tricks were very cunning, and he would attack Shen Suqing unexpectedly from time to time. However, Shen Suqing's strength and reaction made him feel a little pressure. Yuan had also killed the powerful men of Fuyuan at this time. Gongsun Kingming just watched them being killed. Gongsun Kingming didn't care about his own people. I saw that after the death of those powerful Fuyuan men, the black energy on their bodies floated towards Gongsun Kingming. Gongsun Kingming took a deep breath and absorbed all the black energy. Then he trembled all over and praised him endlessly. He looked so happy. Palace Master Yuan, can you beat him? Chen Shang asked. Okay. Yuan rushed over with a long sword in hand. The strange black bird that Gongsun Kingming sat down on was emitting a foul-smelling poisonous gas. It turned into various tentacles and quickly pounced on Yuan. Chen Shang just watched from the side because he also had to pay attention to the battle between Shen Suqing and Xuanyuan Huang. If needed, he could rush over to help immediately. Yuan has indeed become a lot stronger. She only fights with her sword now. She still has the stronger Xingwei Luotian umbrella that she has not used yet, so Chen Shang is quite relieved. The graceful figure is like a blooming flower, beautiful and elegant. Her long hair was spread like a waterfall, floating slightly in the air, like a silver stream of light. Her eyes were deep and bright, like clear lake water, shining with confidence and tenacity. She holds a long sword that shines with stars, and her sword power is sharp and exquisite. Every time he swung the sword light flowed like water, with the power of stars, making people dazzled. However, with the use of Gongsun Kingming's evil magic, Yuan's beautiful figure was soon broken. Gongsun Kingming's black energy tentacles began to entangle her. Those tentacles emitted strange poisonous gas, gradually distorting Yuan's beautiful face. There were slight beads of sweat on her forehead, and the star pattern on her forehead gradually became pale. Her sword skills became awkward. Although her sword skills were superb, she was constantly disturbed by the black energy tentacles, which forced her to be distracted. Yuan, you are poisoned. Chen Shang sent a message. I will help you secretly. Chen Shang also hopes that Yuan can get some experience, because for many years, the four palace masters have never fought against strong enemies. What's more, the Gongsun Kingming in front of him was transformed by the Shayan ancient clan. The Shayan spells used by Gongsun Kingming also came from the Shayan ancient clan. Now is a good opportunity to practice. Chen Shang secretly mobilized the power of the starry ancient tree, and saw many small light green light beads floating around, and there were also twinkling stars. These small light beads entered Yuan's body and immediately helped her dispel the evil and dark ancient poison. Yuan felt the power of stars surging within her body, instantly clearing away the evil and dark poisonous energy from her body. Her beautiful face regained its brilliance, and the star pattern on her forehead shone again. Feeling the return of power in her body, her sword power became sharp and determined again. Her eyes shone with a more determined light, and she once again set her sights on Gongsun Kingming. Gongsun Kingming, you are just a pitiful person who has been corrupted by evil. The power of starlight will purify all evil. Her voice echoed throughout the battlefield. The long sword in her hand burst out with sword light, and the power of stars condensed on the tip of the sword. She rushed towards Gongsun Kingming without fear. This time, she was no longer disturbed by the evil forces, and her sword cut through the dark night sky like a bright meteor. Gongsun Kingming felt the powerful threat from Yuan, and he no longer looked down upon it. For a moment, the sword moves between the two collided with each other. The air was filled with starlight divine power and evil and dark energy, destroying and colliding with each other, violent and shocking. The space was filled with the loud sound of sword strikes, and the power of starlight and evil darkness intertwined on the battlefield. Gongsun Kingming's expression gradually became ferocious, and his whole body was shrouded in black energy, but Yuan's sword became more and more fierce. Yuan's beautiful figure when dancing the sword makes her like a goddess dancing with stars. Her sword skills are like twinkling stars, gorgeous and holy. Every wave of her movements was accompanied by the dazzling light of the stars, like shooting stars in the starry sky cutting through the dark night. Gongsun Kingming felt the pressure from Xingwei, and bursts of painful roars came from the black air. His figure sometimes transformed into a black shadow, trying to avoid Yuan's attacks, and then reappeared to fight back. But the light of the stars seemed to be everywhere, always exposing him to the edge of the sword. Yuan chases Gongsun Kingming. Every attack she makes has the ultimate strength and angle, as if she is challenging the evil power. Her sword dances like a song and a dream, making people fall into a psychedelic state. In this magnificent battle, the graceful beauty and the shock of the battle are integrated, and she shows her softness and fortitude. Kids, help me! Gongsun Kingming roared, and saw the tens of thousands of people in the city below suddenly explode, and a large amount of black energy poured into the air. After Gongsun Kingming swallowed and absorbed the black energy, his body swelled up. At this time, he no longer looked like a human. He looked like a ferocious monster with a swollen body and pimples all over his body. The same is true for Xuanyuan Huang. They overused the power of evil, and they had just obtained it not long ago. Now that they have used it, it has been backfired, turning them into evil and ugly monsters, but they still retain their sanity. Xuanyuan Huang couldn't defeat Shen Suqing, so he was very embarrassed and flew towards Gongsun Kingming on the black strange bird. Do you want to look in the mirror and see what you look like now? Yuan said coldly, and at this time she also took out the Xingwei Luotian umbrella. Xuanyuan Huang and Gongsun Kingming fell into this crazy state. It would be quite dangerous if they used some evil tricks, so Yuan had to be on guard. You know nothing. We never care about the body. As long as we can get strong power, it doesn't matter anything. Gongsun Kingming's voice was hoarse and he laughed arrogantly. Palace Master Yuan, you are high above us, with a beautiful appearance. How, in the end, you died in the hands of an ugly thing like me? Ha ha ha. World-Defying Dan God Chapter 5380, and the Monster. Shen Suqing was a little worried and gently pulled Chen Zhang's sleeve, reminding Chen Shang to take action in time later. She was worried that Yuan wouldn't be able to defeat him, but Chen Shang was extremely powerful and killing Gongsun Kingming was not a problem. Shen Suqing also knew that Chen Shang wanted to train Yuan's fighting ability. Yuan had just made a breakthrough and gained powerful strength. Now that she was facing such a dangerous battle, it would be of great help to her. Yuan held the Xingwei Luotian umbrella, and the power of the starlight surged out, forming a bright starlight curtain that enveloped the entire battlefield. The power of her sword was like a stream of light, and the edge of the Xingwei Luotian umbrella shone with dazzling starlight. At the same time, a faint singing voice came from the Xingwei Luotian umbrella, which was singing the praises of the divine power of the Xingwei ancient tree. Yuan's figure is elegant and agile, with the power of starlight on her body, like a goddess descending with the starlight. Gongsun Kingming and Xuanyuan Huang began to feel a sense of discomfort, which was the impact of the power of starlight on their evil forces, but they did not give up. On the contrary, they became more cunning. Suddenly, Gongsun Kingming quickly approached Xuanyuan Huang and grabbed him. His body began to expand, and evil dark energy spurted out, swallowing Xuanyuan Huang inside. The two merged into one, forming a larger body. This new monster has the wisdom of Gongsun Kingming and the power of Xuanyuan Huang, making it stronger and more evil. Yuan looked at this scene in surprise. She did not expect that Gongsun Kingming would take such dangerous measures. The newly born monster let out a low roar, its eyes full of madness and desire. The evil monster formed by the combination of Gongsun Kingming and Xuanyuan Huang is getting stronger and stronger. Their bodies twisted and deformed, their muscles swelled, and their bones made terrifying crackling sounds. Their eyes were bloodshot and their breathing became heavy and furious. Ha ha ha, have you seen how powerful Xie Yin's magic is? Xie Yin's magic can destroy the world and destroy everything, and is omnipotent. Gongsun Kingming laughed wildly, and then rushed towards Yuan. This huge monster continuously releases evil and dark energy, forming a terrifying oppressive force. Yuan tried her best to resist. Her body shone like crystal under the starlight, but she obviously felt powerless. Fortunately, the Xingwei Luotian umbrella continued to release clear and bright light, repels the evil and dark energy, and gave her a certain degree of protection. Gongsun Kingming's attacks became more and more fierce, and the evil power continued to eat away at her star defense. She waved the Xingwei Luotian umbrella, trying to create opportunities, but the opponent reacted extremely quickly and was always on guard against every attack she made. Gongsun Kingming's attacks brought destructive power with every attack. Although Yuan struggled to resist, the Xingwei Luotian umbrella emitted bright starlight, trying to neutralize the evil power, but her body had begun to show obvious signs of damage, of fatigue. Gongsun Kingming's voice resounded in the monster. You, the palace master, are nothing more than that. The justice and morality you pursue bring you ridiculous power. Only the power of evil and darkness is supreme. It is the strongest. Big. The monster-like Gongsun Kingming hit Xingwei Luotian umbrella hard with every attack, making a deafening roar. Yuan's arms trembled slightly, she felt the terrible threat from the monster, but she would never give up easily. Xingwei Luotian umbrella's defense was suddenly broken through by an extremely violent evil force. While Yuan was frightened, she was also struck by the violent energy wave that burst out, causing numbness and pain all over her body. Suddenly, the monster stretched out its evil tentacles, like a sharp blade, and grabbed Yuan's wrist. Yuan felt an evil force pouring into her body trembled more violently, and the power of the star seemed to be eroded by the evil force. Let me go. Yuan gritted her teeth and struggled hard. Her eyes sparkled with determination, and she would never succumb to evil. The corners of Gongsun Kingming's mouth twisted into a devilish smile. The evil power increased and the threat deepened. Yuan's body began to collapse, and Xingwei Luotian umbrella gradually lost its luster. At this critical moment, Chen Shang jumped up, turned into a ray of golden light, and quickly flew towards the battlefield where evil spirits were surging. The golden aura on his body surged like a tidal wave, and the starlight divine power burst out with powerful momentum, dispersing the strong evil spirits. Gongsun Kingming was also shaken away by the wave of air erupted from Chen Shangfei's charge. When Yuan saw Chen Shang standing in front of her, she immediately felt extremely relieved. Are you that brat? Gongsun Kingming roared. Damn bastard. Gongsun Kingming roared angrily, and at the same time, he fluttered his arms wildly and unleashed waves of violent evil energy, attacking Chen Shang and Yuan. Chen Shang stood in front of Yuan and blocked Gongsun Kingming's perverted attack. The golden divine power on his body formed a strong barrier, firmly blocking out Gongsun Kingming's evil power. Master of the Hall, Yuan was shocked that Chen Shang was able to block Gongsun Kingming's terrifying attack. Yuan, hold on. Chen Zhang's voice was full of strength and determination. He reached out his hand, gently stroked Yuan's cheek, and encouraged her, destroy him, you can do it. Yuan's eyes became firm again, and she no longer felt lonely and helpless. With Chen Zhang's support, she was 100 times more confident, and the Xingwei Luo Tian umbrella once again bloomed with dazzling light. Gongsun Kingming felt the crisis, and his attacks became more violent, but Chen Shang was as stable as a mountain and stood in front of Yuan. The duel between the two became fierce, and the power of the stars intertwined with Gongsun Kingming's evil black energy, and a thrilling impact broke out again. Suddenly, Chen Shang felt movement inside Gongsun Kingming. His body seemed to be struggling, and black energy kept pouring out of his body, trying to escape. Now, Chen Shang shouted softly, reminding Yuan. Yuan used the Xingwei Luotian umbrella to mobilize the power of the Xingwei ancient tree, directly penetrating Gongsun Kingming's body and injecting her primordial divine power. Gongsun Kingming let out a shrill roar, and the black energy gradually dissipated, revealing his exhausted body. He was exhausted now and looked weak. I will not be corrupted by evil again. Gongsun Kingming's voice was full of regret and struggle. He understood that he had fallen into the abyss of evil and paid a huge price, but it was already too late. He finally fell to the ground. He no longer looked as ferocious and threatening as before. His body also dissipated due to the divine power of starlight being poured into him. His soul was also corroded by the evil and dark power, and he lost even the chance of reincarnation. Yuan breathed a sigh of relief, but still looked at Chen Shang in surprise, and said, Master of the Hall, when did you become so strong? Did I disappoint you? I can't beat this kind of thing. Chen Shang smiled, caressed her beautiful and slightly tired face, and said, I am your palace master. If I am not strong, how can I control you? It's normal that you can't beat that guy, because he has a demon in his body. The power of the evil dark ancient clan. The demon lord of the evil dark ancient clan has injected a very violent evil dark divine power into his body. That kind of power is far beyond your imagination. Do you like this sight? Donate here.